Chapter 390. The king of the mermaids glared at him angrily. They said it was a wish, but they didn't ask him to make a wish blindly. Directly become a god? With this ability, her subordinates were all close to God. Cherish the opportunity one gave you. I'm not joking. The king of the mermaids had an unfriendly look on her face. This was purely a joke. You can't give me what I want. For example, the golden substance in your hands. Another example would be top-grade cultivation resources. You can't take them out right now. Jiang Chongkong said calmly. The inheritance of the nether god, the lineage of the underworld. You choose, the mermaid king said calmly. Jiang Chongkong pondered and said, Then I'll take the Yellow Springs lineage, the ghost path and the corpse path. It would be best if it's the nether dragon lineage. Do you have one? The king of the mermaids did not say anything. With a point of his finger, a large amount of information flowed into Jiang Chongkong's mind. Yellow Springs Dao Cultivation Method, Yellow Springs Dao Cultivation Comprehension. After transmitting the message, the king of the mermaids did not do anything else. He watched quietly as Jiang Chongkong digested the information in his mind. Yellow Springs Evil Ghost, Yellow Springs Corpse Dao. These two cultivation methods were both Abyss Dragon's cultivation method. Thank you. Jiang Chongkong cupped his hands. The Mermaid King's expression changed slightly. Are you a martial artist in the form of Tai-yin and Tai-yang? Yes, you near gods seem to be paying attention to this matter. Jiang Chongkong was puzzled. Is this very important? You should go. The Mermaid King waved his hand, unwilling to say more. Jiang Chongkong chuckled and left her body. As his soul returned to his body, Jiang Chongkong looked at the platform. The gemstone that Lin Suyun had brought had already been integrated into the scepter. The scepter exuded a vigorous aura of the Great Path. It should be a divine artifact. Little brother Kong. The Abyss Dragon was lying beside him. When it saw that he had woken up, it quickly stood up. How's the situation? Jiang Chongkong pointed with a finger and passed the Yellow Springs technique to him. The Abyss Dragon paused for a moment as he organized and digested the information in his mind. He was incredibly excited. Yellow Springs Inheritance. Thank you, Brother Kong. Let's go. Jiang Chongkong left with Lin Suyun and the Abyss Dragon. Little Brother Kong, I'll carry you. The Abyss Dragon was extremely grateful when it received the inheritance, and it willingly took the initiative to serve as a mount. The human and dragon left the Mermaid King city, and the city gate was closed again. With the Abyss Dragon around, the corpse poison outside was not a problem at all. After leaving the sea race ruins, there were no living creatures in the deep blue sea. The whales were nowhere to be seen. Soon, they arrived at the entrance. The entrance was still open. Rumble! Just as the two of them stepped out of the ruins, the power of the Great Path blasted toward them. The void shattered, and the entrance to the relic behind him disappeared. The power of extreme yin and extreme yang, the invincible golden light, and the destructive lightning all fell. Roar! The nether dragon roared, and a monstrous corpse energy filled the air. The Yellow Springs stirred, and the corpse Dao manifested. Jiang Chongkong did not move. The great Dao of force manifested, and a formless force spread. The power of the Great Path collapsed, the void shattered, and all kinds of attacks were eliminated. Impossible! The great Dao that filled the sky trembled, and a vast Dao might spread out. A solar star power cultivator showed a horrified expression. Behind him were three martial artists who were equally terrified. The four of them were extreme Yang Star Force martial artists, and were at the middle stage of Star Path. The three of them were not weak, either. One of them was a peak early-stage Star Path martial artist who had escaped. On the other side, there was a Thunder Race martial artist who was similar to them. One was a metal-attributed Star Path martial artist, and was at the middle stage of Star Path. The other two were early-stage Star Path martial artists, and were no weaker than the Nether Dragon. However, the two of them were at the middle stage of Star Path, and their attacks were easily dealt with. What a great gift! This Jiang will accept it. Jiang Changkong smiled coldly. The great Tao of Force manifested in the air, and the great Tao of Force appeared on his forehead. You are Jiang Changkong. The ethereal immortal palace martial artist's expression changed, and he shouted, "We are not here for you. Hand Lin Suyun to us." That's right. We are here for Lin Suyun, the survivors of the three bloodlines said as well. Jiang Changkong sneered. He pressed his right hand down gently, and a formless force spread out with the great Tao. Fight first. Kill. The 8 martial artists shouted furiously, and great Tao power pressed down. Boom. The great Tao of Force shattered the great Tao of Metal and landed on the middle stage Star Path martial artists. The horrifying force tore their bodies apart. Another martial artist's great Tao of Sun turned into a sun, but the formless fist force directly pierced through the sun and his body. Bang! Bang! The other Star Path martial artists exploded, turning into blood mist. Their faint souls left their bodies and flew towards Jiang Changkong. This person cannot be defeated. The 2 Star Path martial artists were horrified. They turned around and rushed out. Come back, Jiang Changkong said indifferently, and the 2 Star Path cultivators lost control of themselves and were sent flying back. Jiang Changkong, we have no grudges, the metal lineage martial artist shouted frantically. It was too horrifying. They had joined forces with so many Star Path martial artists, but they could not block one move from Jiang Changkong. Furthermore, Jiang Changkong could control their bodies, so they could not even leave. Jiang Changkong did not say anything. Soul-searching art. Scenes flashed past. Jiang Changkong's killing intent surged. He directly extracted their souls and fed them to the soul-stabilizing tree. No grudges? They all wanted to kill him and take over his body. If it were not for the people from the Wind lineage stopping them, it would not have been Feng Qixing looking for him. Now it seemed that the people from the Wind lineage really had no ill intentions towards him. He threw the corpses to the Dark Dragon and checked their spatial equipment. The Immortal Palace martial artists, like the group of survivors, all wanted to take over his body. Brother Kong, your strength is a bit scary. The Dark Dragon happily received the corpses and sighed at Jiang Changkong's terrifying strength. My strength is almost enough to dominate the Void Realm. Jiang Changkong digested the information obtained from the soul searching and had an understanding of his own strength. The strongest in the Void Realm was only in the late stage of the Star Path. As for the peak of the Star Path, they had all gone to the starry sky. He was invincible. The Dark Dragon was excited. Then what are we waiting for? Let's flatten the Void Realm. Jiang Changkong was speechless. I was just talking nonsense. I'm not invincible. He actually forgot that the Dark Dragon had a great dream. Ahem, we can't flatten the Void Realm. We Earthlings still have to develop here. However, the people from the Metal, Water, and Thunder lineages, as well as the Immortal Palace's stronghold, must not be left alive. Jiang Changkong coughed softly, his eyes filled with coldness. The 3 lineages and the Immortal Palace all wanted to take over his body, so he had to destroy them. Moreover, the Immortal Palace Research Palace, where the late-stage Star Path cultivators were stationed, should have Star Sage research materials, and he had to get them. Then who are we going to destroy now? The Dark Dragon asked, then muttered, It's best to flatten the Void Realm. Jiang Changkong said faintly, Let's go to Star City first, where Liangqiushwani is. We'll destroy that place and go into seclusion there. Now, he could destroy whoever he wanted, and no one could stop him. The Dark Dragon said unhappily, She's just an ant. Why does Brother Kong care so much about her? Wouldn't it be better to just kill her? She can also gather Lin Suyun's people to continue hiding in the Immortal Palace, or work for me. Jiang Changkong brought the Dark Dragon to Star City. Brother Dragon, don't even think about destroying the Void Realm. You were also born in the Void Realm, and this is your hometown. Other than you, There's only humiliation left for me here. The dark dragon said in grief and indignation, I've been bullied since I was born. I can only pretend to be dead. Jiang Chongkong mourned for the dark dragon. He did not expect it to be like this. However, he felt that it had other ideas in its next sentence. Moreover, I want to build a kingdom of the dead. Chapter 391. Abyss Dragon preferred death. If a star was filled with corpses and ghosts, it would be heaven for it. I will help you forge it in the future, but I still need to feed the soul-stabilizing tree with souls. Jiang Chongkong said as he rushed. Abyss Dragon had the Yellow Springs Ghost Dao, so he could raise evil ghosts. He needed some souls too. I only need some weaklings to practice on. You can feed those above the star realm to the soul-stabilizing tree. Abyss Dragon replied. Those below the star realm wouldn't be of much help to the soul-stabilizing tree. Star City. It was located deep in the mountains and was surrounded by mountains, completely surrounding this place. A formation was hidden within. Jiang Chongkong sensed the strength of the formation. It wasn't bad at the midstage. The star demon here should have inherited 30% of the great Tao. How do we start? Abyss Dragon asked. Let's start. Jiang Chongkong punched towards the mountains. Rumble. A shocking sound spread out. The mountains shattered and turned into dust, drowning Star City like snow. Jiang Chongkong didn't use any power in the dust, so the people inside and the star demon would be fine. However, the mountains collapsed, and the formation here was also destroyed. Roar. Roars came from Star City. Many star demon flew into the air. Among these star demon, there were many humans. Roar. A shocking roar spread out. A huge star demon flew over from afar. Wherever the star demon passed, the space couldn't bear it and cracks appeared. Jiang Chongkong. In the crowd below, Feng Qixing was shocked. This killer came to the black market? Feng Xiaoye's face turned pale. Jiang Chongkong dared to do this because he had the confidence to fight against mid-stage Star Dao? He had already stepped into the Star Dao? Human, which lineage are you from? The huge star demon arrived and stared at Jiang Chongkong angrily. He wasn't in a hurry to attack. To be able to destroy this place with one punch and break the star formation, he was definitely at the mid-stage Star Dao. They were both at the middle stage of the star path, but when they fought, it was hard to determine who would live and who would die. Moreover, it had an agreement with the remnants of the universe. As long as it knew which bloodline it belonged to, it could find the other party directly. Earth's lineage, Jiang Chongkong said faintly. Earth lineage? The star demon below was in an uproar. A star demon said in fear, the Earthlings have already fought their way here? This group of damned Earthlings. It's enough for them to develop in the periphery of the void realm. How dare they come and cause trouble in the depths? A star demon roared and stepped into the sky. The void trembled and the power of the great Tao weaved about. Initial stage of star path. Earth lineage, this place doesn't welcome you. Leave immediately. The star path middle stage star demon didn't act rashly. The only response to it was a punch. A place that doesn't welcome me is not allowed to exist. You're courting death. The star demon roared angrily. Its huge claws descended, and the power of the great Tao was attached to them. Rumble. A terrifying power blasted out. The great Tao of power shattered the void. The star demon's great Tao collapsed. Its claws collapsed, and flesh and blood splattered everywhere. The abyss dragon quickly flew out and collected all the flesh and blood. A punch shattered the star demon's claws. The remaining force did not dissipate, and it directly pierced through the star demon's body. As for the other star path early stage star demon, Jiang Chongkong waved his hand, and it directly exploded. Instant kill. You, goodbye. Jiang Chongkong snorted coldly. He came in front of the star demon, and his hands directly sank into the star demon's body, tearing it apart. Clatter! The star demon was torn apart, and its internal organs fell down. The Abyss Dragon was even happier collecting it. Its soul force swept over, and a beast shadow was collected. It directly searched its soul, and then fed to the soul-stabilizing tree. The Star Path Middle Stage Star Demon is dead? The Star Demon below was stunned. The crowd was also shocked. The Star Path Middle Stage Star Demon was directly torn apart by Jiang Chongkong. Its soul was imprisoned and fed to the soul-stabilizing tree. Run, it was unknown who shouted, but the Star Demon scattered in all directions. However, the Abyss Dragon was faster than them. The yellow springs covered the sky, and endless corpse water rained down, corroding life. Of course, it avoided the crowd. Jiang Chongkong kept his spatial equipment. He raised his palm, and Liangqiu Xuani appeared in front of him. I haven't seen you for a few days, and you have already become familiar with them. Your strength has become even more terrifying. Liangqiu Xuani took a deep breath and recovered from her shock. Jiang Chongkong tapped with his finger, and some memories entered her mind. I will temporarily seal the rest of the memories. This is what you want, the cause of your grandfather's death. Liangqiu Xuani's face turned pale. Is it really my master? A ball appeared in Jiang Chongkong's hand. Lin Suyun was sleeping inside. I brought her here to give you a chance to personally take revenge. What do you want me to do? Liangqiu Xuani quickly calmed down. Jiang Chongkong would not take revenge for her for no reason. He even brought Lin Suyun to her for her to kill. I want you to work for me in the future. You can go to my territory, or continue to hide in the Immortal Palace. Jiang Chongkong said indifferently, how about it? Sure, but I want to ask her personally, Liangqiu Xuani said. The ball disappeared, revealing the unconscious Liangqiu Xuani. She condensed a solar fireball in her hand. Take it and you can kill her. Many thanks. Liangqiu Xuani thanked him and left with Lin Suyun. Jiang Chongkong descended and arrived in front of Feng Qixing. Chongkong. The corner of Feng Qixing's mouth twitched. He looked very unnatural. Jiang Chongkong said indifferently, I agree to your wind veins matter. I will enter seclusion here. Agree? Feng Qixing was startled. He did not expect Jiang Chongkong to come here to talk about this matter. Given his current strength, he did not fear the wind vein at all. However, Jiang Chongkong did not seem to know what was going on. Go and inform the people of your wind vein. Inform the remaining veins too. Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. Okay, wait, why do I need to inform the remaining veins? Feng Qixing replied instinctively. He came back to his senses and was puzzled. Jiang Chongkong said coldly, don't wait for me to find them, especially the metal, water, and lightning veins. Tell them to come and die. Feng Qixing. What exactly did you experience after we parted? In just 10 days, you stepped into the star path and gave birth to a star path mid-stage star demon. But he did not dare to ask and quickly left with his people. The underworld dragon killed all the star demon, and Jiang Chongkong took out the soul-stabilizing tree to absorb the star realm souls. Those below the star realm were collected by the underworld dragon to be refined into evil spirit. I will go into seclusion first, the underworld dragon said. Okay, go underground and enter seclusion. I will kill some more people these few days, don't alarm you. Jiang Chongkong reminded. When the star realm remnant beings came, it would not be easy. Plus, he destroyed Star City and killed 2 Star Path Star Demon and all the Star Demon here. The Star Demon would come looking for trouble. The underworld dragon went underground and entered seclusion. Jiang Chongkong started to count his gains this time. He had killed so many star paths, and his gains were not small. Plus the income of this star city. There were hundreds of thousands of rank 9 astral crystals in total. There were even over 100 grade 10 star crystals, although they were all low grade. But all of them added up was enough for his other 2 martial arts to enter the star path mid-stage. Plus, There were the remnant beings of the three veins and the star demon who came looking for trouble. He might be able to enter the star path midstage directly. He took out his equipment and processed the star stones and some unprocessed star crystals. Chapter 392. On the other side, Liangqiu Xuanyi returned with Lin Xiyun. You didn't kill her? You couldn't do it? Jiang Chongkong was slightly surprised. He did not expect Lin Xiyun to still be alive. I've sorted out my memories. She also knows some soul technique. Liangqiu Xuanyi said indifferently, I'm worried that her soul will escape after I kill her. After saying that, the solar fireball was pressed into Lin Xiyun's body. The great path of the sun burned and even the Tao patterns were burned. Jiang Chongkong extracted the soul and fed it to the soul-stabilizing tree. Liangqiu Xuanyi said calmly, I will try to contact the other senior and junior sisters in the future to do things for you. Okay, remember to take care of the territory. Jiang Chongkong responded and sat down cross-legged. Work hard on your cultivation. Liangqiu Xuanyi sat down but did not cultivate. After this, are you going to the galaxy? Yes, the Void Realm can no longer help me improve. I must go to the galaxy. Jiang Chongkong's eyes were full of yearning. There was a golden substance there. As long as he could find the golden substance, he could quickly step into the near-God realm or even surpass it. Before becoming a near-God, he had no sense of security. First, his body was tempered to near-God, then Hua Tianrui, his soul, and recently, he met the Mermaid King. Once those near-God powerhouses recovered, even the Federation might not be able to stop them. Moreover, apart from them, there were other near-God powerhouses that he had never seen before. These were all potential threats. Who knew if one day they would lose their minds and take over his body? Only when he was strong enough would he be able to defeat all of them. At that time, whether it was a near-God or an incomplete near-God, they would all become stepping stones for him to level up. Time passed quickly as the two of them chatted from time to time. After processing the star crystals, Jiang Chongkong counted the remaining star crystals, including the remaining ones from the Mermaid King City. Low-grade 9th-grade star crystals, 320,000 pieces. Mid-grade star crystals, 110,000. High-grade star crystals, 60,000. Top-grade star crystals, 40,000. Low-grade 10th-grade star crystals, 1,520 pieces. Essence, energy, and spirit. 8952000 close to 9 million essence, energy, and spirit. He was not in a hurry to break through. He waited for the remnant stars and the star demon. However, for 2 days, no one or the star demon came. Someone and the star demon, on the other hand, glanced at him from afar and quickly left. Jiang Chongkong did not make things difficult for the people monitoring him. This group of people should be preparing to deal with him. Dressed in a black gown, Jiang Chongyue also walked over. With merely a single glance from Liangqiu Xuanyi, she merged with heaven and earth. Another 2 days passed, and several figures appeared in the sky along with the star demon. These people and the star demon had very dense great Tao energy on their bodies. They were all star Tao martial artists. 23. The ones leading them were 4 late-stage star path experts, and one of them was a star demon. Boundless might of the way swept over, and the dense great path of wind contracted. A young man descended and said politely, Feng Xing of the Wind Bloodline greets Lord Jiang. Fire Veins Yen Zhenhai greets Lord Jiang, said the red-haired, burly Wind Veins Lord. The others were silent and did not speak. Jiang Chongkong glanced at the 4 late-stage star path experts. Feng Xing was one, and the star demon was another. The other 2 were from the thunder vein and water vein. The fire veins Yen Zhenhai was only a metal vein martial artist at the mid-stage star path. Apart from these few veins, there was also an earth vein martial artist, whose leader was also at the mid-stage star path. I heard from Qi Xing that Lord Jiang has already agreed to the Wind Veins request. In that case, please do it, Lord Jiang. Feng Xing took out a stone box and said with a solemn expression, "Before that, I would like to remind Lord Jiang that the power pattern, the moon, and the sun must merge into one before it can be opened. Although I do not know the power of the moon, Changyue is already here. Someone told me that it can be opened," said Jiang Changkong calmly. "Someone? May I ask who it is?" Feng Xing and the others' expressions changed slightly as they asked. They did not spread this information. Who had secretly contacted Jiang Changkong and told him about it? Not one of you, but a senior. Jiang Changkong said lightly, "He can be considered your ancestor level, an ancient near god." "What? You met an ancient near god?" The remnant beings of the universe became excited and hurriedly surrounded him to ask, "Lord Jiang, please tell us which near god it is." Jiang Changkong pondered and said, "Which one are you asking about?" "The group and the star demon." "Which one? You know several of them?" "Near god in body refinement, near god in soul refinement, flower sea queen, mermaid king of the sea race." Jiang Changkong said lightly, "I know all four of them. I'm quite familiar with them." He knew all of them, quite familiar with them. The remnant beings of the universe were confused. "Are you a species of the universe? I feel like you are the one who fell from the universe." "We, the remnant beings of the universe, have never met an ancient near god." "And you, an earthling, know all four of them?" "Mermaid king of the sea race, our ancestor of the water vein, was a close friend of the mermaid king back then," the star path late stage water vein said excitedly. Jiang Changkong, "Close friend?" If the mermaid king heard this, he would probably cut off all ties with your ancestor. "You people of the water vein actually want to possess the body of your ancestor's close friend? Who gave you the courage?" "Alright, let's not talk about these useless things. If you want me to open this box, I can. How many resources are you willing to pay?" Jiang Changkong said lightly, "Star crystals and star stones are fine. Star stones are not enough." The star demon's expression changed slightly. Star stones were dug out from the bodies of the star demon. "Tell me the price. If you don't have enough resources, you can keep this box." Jiang Changkong glanced at the star demon and ignored him. "Lord Jiang, do you think 100,000 level 9 mid-grade star crystals are enough?" Feng Xing asked. "Not enough. I can just kill a few star demon casually." Jiang Changkong shook his head. The star demon was enraged. "Jiang Changkong, do you want to die? If this is not star stones, then it is killing the star demon. Are you looking down on me?" Jiang Changkong looked at him disdainfully. "Do you believe that I will kill you right now? How arrogant. Today, I will let you know the difference between the mid-stage and the late-stage star Dao." The star demon snorted coldly and jumped into the sky. "Come up and die. Don't be angry. We can discuss this further." Feng Xing and Yan Zhenhai hurriedly persuaded. "Since they are interested, let them spar," the martial artists of the metal vein, water vein, and lightning vein said lightly. If Jiang Changkong was not strong enough, they would directly suppress him. If he was strong enough, it would not be too late to gather resources. Jiang Changkong flew into the sky. His powerful Dao power spread out and pressed down on the star demon. Boom! The star demon directly displayed his great Dao. His tyrannical Dao power crushed Jiang Changkong's Dao power. "Brat, you have just reached the mid-stage star Dao. How dare you be so impudent in front of me?" The star demon sneered. His sharp claws carried the power of the great Dao and slashed down. Jiang Changkong raised his right palm. The three great Daos intertwined. Taiji returns to 1. The three great Daos were activated at the same time. Its power was no longer comparable to before. With the Taiji Great Dao, it did not reveal any power. Even the Dao power was restrained. It did not look powerful at all. The star demon's sharp claws descended. Majestic Dao power erupted. The next moment, his expression changed drastically. 70% of his power, including the power of the Great Dao, was mixed with Jiang Changkong's power and returned. Rumble! The terrifying power of the great Tao swept out. The sharp claws exploded. Blood mist spread. The star demon roared in pain. Chapter 393. The Star Path Late Stage Star Demon exploded. Under Tai Chi return, the Star Path Late Stage seemed extremely weak. Jiang Changkong felt that he had overestimated the Star Path Late Stage. Without special means, he was just trash. Of course, this was also because his three great Daos were strong enough. If it was just a single power, he was far from being a match for the Star Path Late Stage. Looks like you're just trash at the Star Path Late Stage. Jiang Changkong snorted and his killing intent rose. And trash doesn't need to live. The three powers intertwined. Jiang Changkong opened the soul-killing formation again. Thousands of flowers bloomed. Yin and Yang flowers covered the star demon's body. At the star path level, Jiang Changkong's soul-killing formation was filled with dense Tao aura. It was definitely a top-level killing formation. Boom! Flowers bloomed one after another. The star demon roared and the great Tao power in his body exploded to resist the three great Taos. Not good, go help. The water and lightning lineages attacked at the same time. Jiang Changkong's expression turned cold. I will destroy any lineage that dares to come. Arrogant, I will suppress you today. The Star Path cultivators of the two lineages weren't easily intimidated. With a furious roar, they charged at Jiang Changkong. The great Tao power intertwined and formed a formation to attack Jiang Changkong. The group of Star Path martial artists worked together. Two of them were in the Star Path Late Stage. The formation they formed was also a top Star Path killing formation. Stop, Jiang Changkong is a guest of the Wind lineage. Feng Xing frowned. The great Tao of Wind appeared between the two sides. Everyone, there is no need to fight. We just want Jiang Changkong to open the stone box. Feng Xing, we are allies. Capture Jiang Changkong directly. What box can't be opened? The water lineage martial artist said coldly. Jiang Changkong knows the Mermaid King. Are you really going to attack him? Feng Xing said angrily. You just said that the Mermaid King was your ancestor's best friend. In the end, you don't even give face to the Mermaid King? You think he knows him just because he says so? If they really knew each other, why wouldn't they have a token from the Sea Clan? Water Vein Star Path sneered. Very well. Today, I will help the King of the Mermaids to kill you bunch of forgetful bastards. Jiang Changkong smiled coldly. The three great Tao intertwined, and the soul-killing array suddenly enlarged, containing the cultivators of the two veins at the same time. The yin-yang flower bloomed, and the great path of the soul intertwined. Jiang Changkong spread his hands. One was the great Tao of soul, and the other was the great Tao of power. Taiji became one, and the three great Taos combined. The Tai Chi diagram suppressed the void. The great Tao of strength suppressed the area. The great Tao of soul sealed the void. Feng Xing's face was filled with anxiety. However, on the other side was his ally, and he couldn't help Jiang Changkong deal with them. However, if things were allowed to continue like this, it would be difficult for things to turn out well. Rumble! The vast Taiji diagram absorbed the power of countless great Tao, becoming more and more terrifying. The Water Vein martial artist, the Lightning Vein martial artist, and the Star Demon, the three great late-stage Star Path martial artists, used their ultimate arts at the same time and attacked Jiang Changkong. The other Star Daos followed closely behind, supported by the power of the formation. Explode! Jiang Changkong pressed down with his palm, and the vast Taiji diagram descended. After absorbing everyone's great Tao energy, it instantly erupted. At the same time, the soul-killing array also released yin-yang flowers, and the entire formation bloomed. Rumble! The great Tao energy clashed, and the void collapsed as Tao might swept out for 5,000 kilometers. The Wind Vein and Fire Vein martial artists quickly took action, resisting the shock waves and protecting the others. Blood of various colors splattered, shattering mountains and shattering the ground. The great Tao energy tore their bodies and surged through their souls. With one strike, they were all injured. Great Tao energy circled around their wounds, preventing them from healing. On the other hand, Jiang Changkong's great Tao of strength manifested. 9 force patterns released resplendent golden light, and the great Tao energy automatically scattered. Body-tempering cultivators were immune to the great Tao. Jiang Changkong's body quickly healed. Then, he charged forward and directly grabbed a star Tao martial artist. Then, he punched, and the star Tao martial artist exploded. The 3 great Tao obliterated all life. Jiang Changkong die. A furious roar rang out, and the lightning spear tore through the void, piercing towards Jiang Changkong. Jiang Changkong smiled coldly and pressed his left hand on the spear. Then, he manifested the 3 great Tao and combined them. Crack! Cracks actually appeared on the late-stage Star Tao lightning spear. With a loud rumble, the Taiji returned to 1, and the 3 great Tao drowned out the Thunder Vein Star Tao. Clang! A spear landed, and an early-stage Star Tao martial artist showed a horrified expression. He could not break the defense. Jiang Changkong punched, and the early-stage Star Tao martial artist exploded, his life force dissipating. The Star Demon, Water Vein, Lightning Vein, and Metal Vein martial artists surrounded Xiao Chen with all their might. However, Jiang Changkong's body-tempering strength was simply too terrifying. He completely ignored the early-stage Star Tao martial artists' attack. As for their formations and Jiang Changkong's soul-killing array, they shattered at the same time. The Taiji protection and universal shift. The attacks of the Thunder Vein martial artists landed on the Water Vein martial artist. Every time Jiang Changkong punched, a mid-stage or early-stage Star Tao martial artist would die. Blood of various colors splattered. Powerful Tao runes were collapsing, and the power of the great Tao was forcefully shattered. As the fight continued, Jiang Changkong became more and more relaxed. These 3 late-stage Star Tao martial artists were still far from their limit. He estimated that these 3 people carried about 60% of the great Tao at most. Although each of Jiang Changkong's great Tao only carried 20%, when combined with the Taiji returning to 1, the power that erupted was not as simple as adding them together. With a loud rumble, Jiang Changkong's punch penetrated the body of the Thunder Vein martial artist, and lightning blood splattered. Roar! Jiang Changkong opened his mouth and let out an inexplicable roar. For a moment, all the martial artists present were dazed, especially the Thunder Vein martial artist. He was stunned after being injured. Soul-killing sound. A secret art that was close to a deity's, mainly attacking the soul. Jiang Changkong took this opportunity to tear apart the defense with his palms, and 9 energy patterns roared together. Bang! The Thunder Vein martial artist exploded, and he was torn apart by Jiang Changkong. After reaching the Star Tao, Jiang Changkong's physique refinement strength erupted with terrifying power. Too terrifying, we can't hurt him at all. The early-stage Star Tao martial artists were in despair. Jiang Changkong could kill them in 1 move, and they could not break through his defense at all. What could they use to fight? Now, even a late-stage Star Tao martial artist was torn apart by Jiang Changkong. Endless fear surged in their hearts. This was a demon king, an undefeatable demon king. Roar! The soul-killing sound resounded again, and the exploded Thunder Vein martial artist was directly drowned by the 3 great Taos, and all his life was extinguished. A late-stage Star Tao martial artist had fallen. Run, Jiang Changkong is too terrifying. The Star Tao martial artists panicked, including the late-stage Star Tao Star Demon. The 3 lineages are finished. Below, Feng Xing's face was pale. The 3 lineages were really finished. 3 late-stage Star Tao martial artists led a group of early-stage Star Tao martial artists to besiege Jiang Changkong, but they were killed instead. And Jiang Changkong had said before that he would destroy any lineage that dared to make a move. Jiang Chongkong had slaughtered his way to the depths of the Void Realm, and he was even more terrifying than the netherworld abyssal dragon, destroying wherever he went. Sigh. Yen Zhenhai and the Earth Vein martial artists sighed with a trace of helplessness. These three lineages have forgotten our true purpose. They have already forgotten their homeland, and only think about power. A trace of sorrow flashed across Feng Xing's face. If the so-called ultimate combat body could be controlled and cultivated so easily, Starry Sky would have done it long ago. There is still a chance to balance the three forces. The Immortal Palace has already made some progress, but merging them is just an extravagant hope. The three lineages discussed below, while the battle above continued. As the late-stage Star Dao martial artist of the Thunder Vein died, a group of dancers wanted to escape, but endless white clouds appeared between heaven and earth, interweaving with the great Tao of the soul. In the white clouds, the expressions of all Star Dao martial artists changed drastically. Their great Tao power was suppressed. Chapter 394. Cloud Tao Sutra, All Things Bow. Once the white cloud Tao appeared, all Star Tao were suppressed. He forcefully tore apart Star Dao martial artists and cracked the Tao. The strength Tao displayed a terrifying might that tore apart heaven and earth, destroying everything. He was like a primordial beast with a powerful aura that could destroy heaven and earth. When the last Star Dao was smashed into pieces, apart from Jiang Chongkong, no one else was left standing. 13 Star Dao martial artists were all dead. There were still 10 who were remnants of the wind, fire and earth lineages who did not attack. Jiang Chongkong collected the spoils of war and landed with the 13 corpses, sinking into the ground and giving them to the Abyss Dragon. The soul-stabilizing tree appeared and devoured the Star Dao souls in front of the three lineages. The soul-stabilizing tree swayed and was almost 20 feet tall now. These Star Dao souls were great nourishment. I already have the 90,000 star crystals you mentioned just now. Jiang Chongkong said indifferently, show some sincerity. The expressions of the three lineages were solemn, but no one dared to say anything. Jiang Chongkong's strength was enough to destroy their three lineages. Our three lineages can only give you 1,000,000 grade 9 star crystals, including inferior grade ones. Feng Xing said with a solemn expression, there are no grade 10 ones, they were all brought to space. Grade 9 star crystals were rare to begin with. Taking out 1,000,000 at once was a huge price for the three lineages. Metal, water, lightning, these three lineages don't need to exist anymore, Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. The Star Dao of these three lineages had fallen, but the martial artists below the Star Dao were still around. After he returned this time, he would be participating in the expedition. Once he left, these remnants would probably continue to act arrogantly. Apart from him, there were no stars in his territory, and he could not stop them. The Federation might take care of his territory, but how could they guard against thieves for 1,000 days? They would just eliminate the route. The expressions of the three lineages changed slightly, and he said in shock, Lord Jiang, are you really going to kill them all? Their main forces are in the starry sky. Since we have already formed enmity, I cannot hold back. Jiang Chongkong said coldly, or are you going to join forces with them and go against me? The three Meridian's martial artists were silent. They suspected that Jiang Chongkong was deliberately provoking them. If they couldn't endure it any longer and made a move, Jiang Chongkong would have an excuse to wipe them out as well. The forces of the starry sky could indeed intimidate them. However, behind Jiang Chongkong was the Earth Federation. Earth's influence in the universe was even greater than theirs. Taking a deep breath, Feng Xing said, Lord Jiang, no matter what, you're acquainted with those few old gods. For their sake, please spare the juniors of the three bloodlines. Since the hard way didn't work, he could only resort to the soft way. Jiang Chongkong sneered when he heard that. What the metal, water, and lightning veins have done can anger your ancestors back to life. After saying that, He pointed his finger and transmitted the scene of Shuiqin and Lin Suyun possessing the king of the mermaids to them. The three meridians martial practitioner checked the information in his mind, and his expression immediately turned cold. Soul-stealing, and the best friend of the ancestor of the water veins. Not to mention Jiang Chongkong, when that person regained control of the body and completely recovered, he would probably destroy the water veins personally. This group of bastards. Forget it, Lord Jiang, the metal, water, and lightning veins only have themselves to blame. We're willing to pay 1,000,000 grade 9 star crystals. Please open the stone box for us. Feng Xing sighed and did not plead for mercy. You guys go gather resources. I'll wait for you here and take care of the three bloodlines, Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. After the three meridians martial practitioners left, Jiang Chongkong brought Liangqiu Xuani and charged towards the metal, water, and lightning veins. The Star Dao martial practitioners had already been wiped out, and those remaining were all below the Star Dao. Are you really going to kill them all? Liangqiu Xuani asked calmly. Of course not. This is a force prepared for you. Jiang Chongkong smiled faintly. I will use a secret art to change their memories and make them loyal to you in the future. How about it? Liangqiu Xuani's eyes flickered. Good, this will maximize the benefits. I will arrange for them to enter the Immortal Palace. The main forces of the Immortal Palace are in space. The remaining ones will not be of much use to me in the future. Jiang Chongkong sighed. These are Earth's resources. You guys can use them yourselves. When he went to space, he would not return until he became a near god. When he became a near god, only some star sage level treasures would be useful to him. But there were very, very few star sages here. Are you making funeral arrangements? Liangqiu Xuani asked. You can say that. I will not return until I become a near god unless something big happens. Jiang Chongkong said, I'll leave Earth's matters to you in the future. Yes, I will use these people to control the Immortal Palace and protect your territory, Liangqiu Xuani said. Jiang Chongkong did not say anything else. He had arrived at the Metal Veins territory. His soul power swept out. He used a secret art to erase their memories of the remnant people of space and create a new set of memories. The native Earthlings obeyed Liangqiu Xuani. As for Jiang Chongkong, he was their strongest leader. For this group of people who had not even reached the star path, it was very easy to change them. These people offered their fortuitous encounters, astral crystals, and all sorts of information. Jiang Chongkong only wanted star crystals. There were also many star stones, but Jiang Chongkong did not take them out. Among the information, there was information about warships, top-tier warships. Together with all kinds of materials, it was very likely that Jiang Chongkong would have his own warship. When that time came, he would need a lot of star stones to burn. After putting away the things, Jiang Chongkong went to the Thunder Vein, and then the Water Vein. Jiang Chongkong frowned as he searched through his memories. Is Yi Nan here? Yi Nan is here? Liangqiu Xuani was also a little surprised. She only knew that Yi Nan's disappearance might be related to the Immortal Palace and these remnant people. She did not expect Yi Nan to be in the Water Vein. Jiang Chongkong raised his palm. The ground split open, and a river appeared underground. Yi Nan sat cross-legged in the river. An early-stage star path cultivator. 3 chains pierced through his body and restrained him in the underground river. Yi Nan, who was sitting cross-legged, opened his eyes and looked at the two coldly. I already told you about the sea race ruins. What else do you want? You told the Water Vein about the sea race ruins. Jiang Chongkong was slightly surprised. He did not find this information in Lin Suyun's memories. With a flick of his finger, an invisible force landed, and the 3 chains broke inch by inch. The great Tao of water in Yi Nan's body trembled, and he rushed out of the underground river and came to the surface. Looking at the people of the Water Vein around him, Yi Nan's expression was solemn. What exactly are you planning? Yi Qiushui asked me to find you. Now, the water vein is mine. Jiang Chongkong said calmly. Why were you imprisoned by them? Yinan frowned and did not reply. Jiang Chongkong shot out a stream of light and transmitted some memories. Then, he took out the cultivation manual that Yi Qiushui had given him. So many years have passed. Yinan was in a daze as he digested the memories. After a while, he completely calmed down and understood the current situation. Back then, I obtained news about the sea race ruins and came here to find them. I fell into the Immortal Palace's trap. At that time, I was saved by a star path cultivator of the water vein. He was very powerful and helped me to step into the star path. I was very grateful and let down my guard. In the end, what he had was a map of the sea race ruins. It was not a keepsake. He was tricked by the water vein and captured. With Yinan's map, the water vein found the sea race ruins and moved everything inside. Chapter 395. Moreover, the water vein wanted Yinan to be loyal to them and work for them in the expedition. Yinan did not agree, and was locked in the underground river to be used as cannon fodder during the expedition. After listening to Yinan's story, Jiang Chongkong said, "Come back with me when I'm done. Thank you for saving me. I'll do anything for you in the future, Lord Jiang." Yinan bowed and said gratefully. Jiang Chongkong waved his hand. "You're welcome. My territory and the Yi clan are allies now. It's the Yi clan's fortune to have you as an ally." Yinan already knew that Jiang Chongkong had destroyed the three-star path sect. That level of strength was enough to reign supreme in the Void Realm. After packing up, Jiang Chongkong returned to Star City with the two of them. Jiang Chongkong had already ordered the three-star path sects to head to his territory first. With that, the manpower for Jiang Chongkong's territory was finally gathered. There were also a lot of high-level martial artists who were stronger than those major forces. The Dark Dragon was still in seclusion. Liang Qiushuani explained the current situation to Yinan while Jiang Chongkong occasionally interjected. 3 days later, the wind, fire, and earth martial artists arrived. They brought the million star crystals and took out the stone box again. Jiang Chongyue appeared out of thin air and stood beside Jiang Chongkong. "Lord Jiang, Jiang Chongyue, please." The three-star path sects bowed solemnly. Jiang Chongkong held the stone box. It was sealed and had a strong Dao rune on it. "Why do you insist on opening it?" Jiang Chongkong was not in a hurry to open it and asked. The deity had already told him that there was a key inside. The metal, water, and thunder lineages that he had searched did not contain any information about the stone box. "To return to our homeland," Feng Xing said in a deep voice, "be it us or Earth, the expedition to the cosmos is only near Earth. An enormous door of the great Tao has sealed us in. Only by opening that door can we go deeper into the cosmos." The three Meridian's martial artists did not hide it, nor could they hide it. Jiang Chongkong could search their souls and learn the secret of this stone box. This stone box was found by the Star Remnant natives at the door and could only be opened with the power of 3 lights. Great Yin and Great Yang power marks gathered, opening the stone box and opening the starry sky gate. Every 20 years, one of the 6 branches of the universe would be chosen to guard the stone box and wait for the person with the 3 star powers to appear. Only Xing Dao, who guarded the stone box, knew these secrets. When the protector was replaced, the previous protector would head to the starry sky. This time, it was the wind veins' turn to guard. They only wanted to open the stone case and return to their homeland through the starry gate. Now, almost all the resources near Earth have been exploited. They wanted to return to their homeland, while Earth wanted to dig for resources in the depths of the starry sky. It was a win-win situation. The only downside was that he didn't know if there would be any danger after opening the Stargate. "All right, Chongyue, come." The power of the sun and the great path of power emerged around Jiang Chongkong's body, and he coordinated them with the Tai Chi True Scripture. Under the coordination of the Tai Chi True Scripture, The Taiji True Scripture and the Taiji True Scripture coexisted peacefully. Buzz. The power of the three lights merged into the stone box, which absorbed the power and emitted five-colored starlight. Crack. A crisp sound was heard, and it slowly opened. A wisp of golden light dissipated, and a golden key lay quietly inside. "Thank you, Lord Jiang." Feng Xing quickly took out the key and said gratefully. "All right, the deal is done. We'll go our separate ways in the future." Jiang Chongkong returned the stone box to him. The martial artists left with the key and the stone box. They wanted to contact the starry sky and send the stone box up. "Why don't you keep that thing? That way you'll have the initiative." After the three sects left, Yi Nan asked in confusion. Liang Qiuhuani was also puzzled. Even if Jiang Chongkong couldn't protect it, he could give it to the Federation in exchange for benefits. Jiang Chongkong shook his head. "I can't take it. It's dangerous to open the Stargate." The god had warned him that the danger was definitely not something the Xing Dao could withstand. As for giving it to the Federation, he had also thought about it, but what if the danger was too terrifying? "It will take time for them to send the key. When we go back, we can just tell the Federation," Jiang Chongkong said again. As long as they informed the Federation, they would pay attention to the situation. If there were only benefits, then they would rob it. The two did not speak anymore and sat down at the side. Jiang Chongyue hid in the void again. A few days later, the underworld dragon finally came out of seclusion. His aura was terrifying, and he had reached the mid-stage of the Star Dao. This time, it was Jiang Chongkong's turn to enter seclusion. He had gained a lot this time. Inferior grade 9 star crystals, 1,000,000. 1100 middle grade star crystals, 680,000. 1360 superior grade star crystals, 320,000. 960 top tier star crystals, 110,000. 440 essence, energy, and spirit, 38.6 million. These were all the gains this time. Including the ones before, he had close to 9 million essence, energy, and spirit. Golden light sprinkled down, and the condensation of the great Tao sped up. Jiang Chongkong first raised the other two martial arts to the mid-stage. The two martial arts increased, carrying 20% of the great Tao, and his strength increased again. Jiang Chongkong, mid-stage star Tao top-tier low-grade martial art, indestructible golden body, initial success, 1/3. 5 million Tai Chi Sutra, initial success, 1/3. 5 million Sun Sutra, initial success, 1/3. 5 million Moon Sutra, initial success, 1/3. 5 million Death Heavenly Blade, initial success, 1/3. 5 million Sky Imperial Scripture, initial success, 1/3. 5 million Cloud Tao, initial success, 1/3. 5 million top-tier low-grade Array Tao, Battle Body Star Formation, incomplete initial success, 1/3. 5 million Essence, Energy, and Spirit, 466252888. It was enough for him to reach the late stage of the Star Dao. Only then would he be truly invincible in the Star Dao. Jiang Chongkong improved again, and with the help of treasures and the star formation, he could see the great Tao. The number of Tao patterns on the 7 stars increased from 20% to 30%. In the end, it exceeded 40% and reached 50%. Beyond 40% was the late stage of the Star Dao, and 70% was the limit. When it reached 50%, the Tao patterns were full. Half of the 7 stars were filled with Tao patterns. 50% of the great Tao. With the 8 martial arts combined, he could kill whoever he wanted on Earth now. Jiang Chongkong also peeked at the great Tao of heaven and earth again. This time, he found something different. The great Tao that he had cultivated was different from the one he had peeked at. After all, after his upgrade, it was the most suitable for him. Feeling the intertwining power of the great Tao in his body, Jiang Chongkong stabilized his cultivation and looked at his data again. Jiang Chongkong. Late stage of the Star Dao top-tier low-grade martial arts, indestructible golden body, De Shang, 1/24. 5 million Tai Chi Sutra, De Shang, 1/24. 5 million Sun Sutra, De Shang, 1/24. 5 million Moon True Scripture, De Shang, 1/24. 5 million Death Heavenly Blade, De Shang, 1/24. 5 million Sky Imperial Scripture, De Shang, 1/24. 5 million Cloud Dao, De Shang, 1/24. 5 million Top Tier Array Dao, Battle Body Star Formation, Incomplete De Shang, 1/24. 5 million Essence, Vitality and Spirit, 186252888. The ground split open and Jiang Chongkong returned to the ground with the treasures. Little brother Kong, the Abyss Dragon, was the first to greet them. He put away the treasure and did not let the two of them see it. You've improved again. Liangqiu Xuanyi was already numb to this. He was a freak. He had said that achieving the Star Dao within 100 years was already unprecedented. What about now? He probably wouldn't be able to do it in the future. Of course, it was also possible for a young man to become a top-tier martial artist in the ancient times when mortals and deities coexisted. However, in this era, if there were any reincarnated deities, they would probably be eating dust after Jiang Chongkong. Shall we go back now? Yinan could not wait any longer. He couldn't wait to go back to the Yi family and see his family. Yinan, Xuanyi, you guys go back first. Brother Dragon and I will destroy the headquarters of the Divine Palace Research Palace and the other strongholds. Jiang Chongkong said calmly. The remnants of the universe had run out of resources on Earth, so they could only go to the Divine Palace. Chapter 396. Jiang Chongkong had left his soul power on Liangqiu Xuanyi and Yinan. It wasn't that he suspected them of being disloyal, he just wanted to find them. If there was any danger, he would be able to find them. After saying goodbye to the two, Jiang Chongkong brought the underworld dragon to the headquarters of the research palace. The research palace was hidden deep in the mountains, with a late-stage star path overseeing it. Jiang Chongkong could kill late-stage star path cultivators before, so the late-stage star path cultivators here were nothing. Before reaching the peak of late-stage, Jiang Chongkong crushed them to death. The soul belonged to him, and the corpse to the underworld dragon. Star crystals, all kinds of information, including information on star sages, were available. He could use them to reach the peak of star sage. As for near-god level cultivators, they wouldn't be a problem when he reached the near-god level. Near-god level cultivators were the top existences on Earth and in this universe, unless the legendary immortal god appeared. He wasn't in a hurry to go into seclusion. He went to find the other strongholds. The 8th grade star crystals were useless, and the Immortal Palace stronghold didn't gain much. A month later, the Immortal Palace stronghold could no longer be seen in the depths of the void. Over the past month, Jiang Chongkong didn't let go of any star demon he encountered, especially the Star Dao level star demon. He and the underworld dragon almost leveled the depths of the universe. The people of the wind, fire, and earth lineages were so scared that they hid in their homes and didn't dare to come out. Jiang Chongkong and the underworld dragon went into seclusion. The underworld dragon went into seclusion first. He counted the star crystals, which were much less than plundering the remnant beings of the universe. However, there were some 10th grade star crystals, early grade 9th grade star crystals, 800,000 pieces. Middle grade star crystals, 400,000 pieces. High grade star crystals, 280,000 pieces. Top grade star crystals, 120,000 pieces. Low grade 10th grade star crystals, 2,500 pieces. These were all the gains. Essence, Spirit, 29. 45 million in total. He needed less than 1 million more Essence, Spirit, and Spirit to perfect 2 cultivation technique. Jiang Chongkong took advantage of the underworld dragon's seclusion to sweep through some star realm star demon. Half a month later, The underworld dragon came out and reached the peak of the midstage star Dao. Jiang Chongkong only spent 2 days in seclusion to perfect 2 sets of martial arts. The indestructible golden body and the Taiji true scripture both carried 70% of the great Tao. Jiang Chongkong. Star Path Late Stage Top Grade Lower Grade Martial Art Indestructible Golden Body. Deshang. 24. 5,000,000/24. 5,000,000 Taiji Sutra. Deshang. 24. 5,000,000/24. 5,000,000 Sun Sutra. Deshang 1/24. 5,000,000 Lunar Scripture. Deshang 1/24. 5,000,000 Death Heaven Blade. Deshang 1/24. 5,000,000 Imperial Heaven Scripture. Deshang 1/24. 5,000,000 Taoist Scripture in the Clouds. Deshang 1/24. 5,000,000 Top-Ranked Low-Grade Array Dao. Battle Form Star Formation, Incomplete. Deshang 1/24. 5,000,000 Essence, Energy and Spirit. 65288. After coming out of seclusion, Jiang Chongkong brought the Abyss Dragon back to his territory. Brother Kong, are we really not going to flatten the Void Realm? The Abyss Dragon could not forget this dream of his. The Void Realm is related to Earth's development. Let's go to the stars next. Jiang Chongkong thought about it and felt that he should attract him. Don't you want to go back to your hometown and take a look at the Death Star? Who knows where it is? It's hard to say whether it still exists or not. The Abyss Dragon was not very interested in the so-called hometown. It was born in the Void Realm and wanted to turn the Void Realm into a kingdom of death. I think the homeland of the Yellow Springs may have an endless amount of death aura. There might even be corpse path star crystals, top-grade ones. Jiang Chongkong tried to bluff. Of course, what he said was not without reason. There must have been some near-deity-level experts in the Yellow Springs lineage back then, if they were still alive. You have a point. The Abyss Dragon thought about it and felt that it was possible. Then, let's go to the stars with Brother Kong? As they spoke, the two returned to the territory. The territory had a large population and was bustling with activity. The territory that Jiang Chongkong had expanded was now a little crowded. Especially after Yi Nan came back. He moved the Yi family here. Yi Nan was now a Star Path warrior and was at the peak of the early stage. His return caused a commotion, and even the Federation was paying attention. Liangqiu Xuani did not show up. She only let some people from the 3 lineages join the territory and left. She still had to gather the other forces of the Immortal Palace and take control of the Immortal Palace as soon as possible. After Jiang Chongkong returned, he handed all the information he had obtained to Professor Yun. Wang Ruiqing had left before and had returned. The matter of framing him had been investigated, and it was done by the Immortal Palace. Now that he had taken his revenge, he could do research in the Immortal Palace with peace of mind. Jiang Chongkong scanned the area with his divine will and found 3 acquaintances. His 2 senior sisters and senior sister Ruashi were strolling around the territory. Jiang Chongkong came to the 3 with the shrunken Abyss Dragon. Little Chongkong. Ji Xiling gave him a hug excitedly. My good brother, I haven't seen you for more than a year. I missed you so much. Now, the 3 senior sisters' strength had also improved greatly, and they were all Stargate martial artists. With their talents and the resources of the territory, it was not difficult for them to become high-level warriors. I missed you too. When did you come? Jiang Chongkong said and introduced. This is the Abyss Dragon. I call him Brother Dragon. The Abyss Dragon grinned. Nice to meet you. I'm Brother Kong's best friend. If you have any enemies in the future, feel free to look for me. It's really a dragon. The 3 senior sisters sized it up curiously. They had only heard about it from Yi Nan before, and now they had finally seen it with their own eyes. Right, Chongkong, Hua Qinglan looked for you before. I wonder what it was about, Tang Ruashi said. Hua Qinglan. Jiang Chongkong nodded. I'll contact her later. Let's go eat first. he invited Su Hengji and the other old friends to have a meal together. Although the abyss dragon liked corpses, it did not mind tasting human food. After relaxing for 2 days, Jiang Chongkong contacted Hua Qinglan. However, Hua Qinglan's phone was turned off. Jiang Chongkong gave the abyss dragon the token to open the ancient battlefield and told it to go into seclusion there. Soon, the 3 families came to congratulate him on reaching the Stargate realm and gave him many gifts. Apart from them, some people from other islands who he knew and did not know also came to give him gifts. After a few days, Jiang Chongkong finally had some free time again. One day Yinan came. Chongkong, the expeditionary force is coming back. Yinan brought a piece of news. The Federation has contacted me. They can give us a quota and let us go. They also told the Federation about the Stargate. Expeditionary force, let's go together. Jiang Chongkong's eyes were full of anticipation. Although he had brought back a lot of things, it was not easy to build a warship. It would take at least a year or 2 to build a warship. One more thing. What should we do with Xingjin? Yinan drank a cup of tea. You and Xingjin have a lot of grudges. Xingjin sent a letter to ask for peace. Jiang Chongkong asked, does Xingjin have any star sages or true gods? No, only a few star sages, and they are all at the early stage, Yinan replied. They have close ties with the Celestial Palace, which is why they can stand firm among the major forces. Then destroy them. You and the Abyss Dragon will take care of this. I won't do anything. Jiang Chongkong was not interested. A group of early-stage star sages could be crushed by the Abyss Dragon, who was at the peak of the mid-stage. As for the rest of the Celestial Palace, since the Research Palace had been destroyed, it would be great if the other palaces dared to jump out. Yinan nodded. When he was about to say something, Jiang Chongkong's phone rang. It was a message from Hua Qinglan. The Battle Palace has reappeared. Come quickly, Jiang Chongkong suddenly stood up. I have something to do. Go to the ruins and find the Abyss Dragon. Chapter 397. The Battle Palace's physique was close to that of a god. When he first came to the Void Realm, Hua Qinglan had told him about the depths of the Void Realm. There were top-grade resources there. Jiang Chongkong had wanted to go, but things were unpredictable. Liangqiu Xuani had brought him to the Immortal Palace's stronghold, but Feng Qixing had interfered and sent him to look for treasures close to that of a god. Because he had to refine his essence, he had only returned now. Hua Qinglan could not find him, so she went to the depths of the Void Realm. He did not expect to meet the Battle Palace again on this trip. Hua Qinglan sent a message with an address. Jiang Chongkong merged with the world and left the territory in an instant. Hua Qinglan was in a different direction from the depths that Jiang Chongkong had gone to, but in the deep sea. In the deep sea, there was an ancient relic with a spatial crack that swallowed seawater. In a few minutes, Jiang Chongkong had arrived above the sea. He scanned with his soul power, found the entrance, and stepped into the spatial crack. As soon as he stepped out of the spatial crack, a monstrous blood chi swept over. The power rune star formation enveloped the entire space. A blood-colored palace was located in the center, emitting a majestic aura. It was like a small world, with weeds, trees, and some ancient buildings. However, the small world had been enveloped by the power rune star formation. Roar. The roar resounded, and the void could not withstand the aura. Jiang Chongkong's heart sank as he felt the pressure again. This blood-colored palace had 6 floors. Feng Qixing had said that the most basic ability of immortal-level treasures was self-repair. As long as they found a damaged immortal-level treasure, it would automatically repair itself. This battle palace was an immortal palace, and the god should have found the other 3 floors and pieced them together. There was no one around, so they should have all entered the battle palace. This time, Jiang Chongkong did not use the triple light pearl. He directly manifested his cultivation and entered the blood-colored palace. He ran all the way up. The second floor had changed. There were no small rooms or corpses, it was empty. The third floor also did not have any god cultivation method, it was also empty. On the wall, there were still 2 names that he had carved with the moon sword. Hua Qinglan, didn't you say that you had been here before? It's already the 4th level, so why aren't there any divine arts? The 2nd level doesn't have the corpse of a demigod. Have you been here or not? Damn it, even a peak star path cultivator wouldn't be able to withstand the star formation here. Angry roars and resentful voices resounded. Damn it, Hua Qinglan. Don't think that you can trick us just because you're in the upper echelon of the Federation. When we get out of here, Galaxy Budokai, will not forgive you. Shut up, all of you. What I saw before was only on the 3rd floor. You saw my name and Changkong's on the 3rd floor. Hua Qinglan's voice was filled with coldness. If you think it's dangerous, you can leave now. I didn't force you to come in. What was that roar just now? A young man asked. His body was emitting a dense Tao aura. That's the sound of the power pattern. I've said it before, there's an almost godlike person with an immortal body here. If we anger him, none of us will be able to leave. Hua Qinglan's expression became colder. She could only pray that Jiang Changkong would see the news in time. An almost godlike person with an immortal body? The group looked at each other. When they came in, they didn't ask. They only knew that Hua Qinglan had come in. From their point of view, if Hua Qinglan was fine, then there shouldn't be too much danger. Among them, Hua Qinglan was the weakest. The leaders were 3 star path martial artists. The other 7 had comprehended a bit of the star path. Other than them, there were also some star demon. They weren't weak either. 2 of them were star path martial artists. Thump thump. Heavy footsteps came from the 3rd level. Everyone and the star demon quietened down. Someone else is coming. A star demon turned his head. He used his great path power to protect himself, resisting the blood chi and star formation. It's you, star demon. The human's hearts sank. This was the star demon's territory. The human territory was still far away. None of them spread the news. They came in directly. Jiang Changkong. As the footsteps got closer, Jiang Changkong finally stepped on the 4th level. Hua Qinglan was overjoyed and said excitedly. Jiang Changkong smiled. He ignored the stars here and walked over. Did you find anything? Not yet. Hua Qinglan shook her head. This place has changed completely. There was something she didn't say. It had become like Tying Immortal Palace. There was nothing in the first 4 levels. Jiang Changkong? He really is a human. The star demon's eyes were ferocious. The peerless genius of the human race. I wonder if the human race will feel heartache if he dies here. How dare you! Hua Qinglan and the 3 human star path martial artists stood in front of Jiang Changkong. Star path star demon? Jiang Changkong looked at the star demon. His great path power was ordinary, early-stage star path. You have good eyes. I'll eat it later. Since when is it the star demon's turn to take the treasure? Bang! Before he finished speaking, the star path star demon exploded. He turned into blood chi and fused with this place. He died? The group of humans and the star demon were stunned. He died just like that? Did that near god do it? Hua Qinglan woke up from her shock. To be able to kill a star path martial artist silently, and the way he died was obviously the great path of strength. She didn't think that Jiang Changkong had this ability. She thought that it was a near god who did it. Near god? What is going on? The 3 star path martial artists were stunned. Just because the star demon wanted to kill Jiang Changkong, a near god killed the star demon? Was this Jiang Changkong's home? Bang bang, another few explosions sounded. The star demon all exploded, leaving only the spatial equipment. Jiang Changkong kept the equipment and looked at the 10 people. Which one of you is from Star River Budokai? What do you want? A young man's face turned pale and his voice trembled. Kill you. Bang. As soon as he finished speaking, the young man exploded, turning into a blood mist that merged with the blood chi. Jiang Chongkong Yu. Boom. Majestic Tao might emanated from Jiang Chongkong's body. Peak late star path, great path of strength. The 70% great path pressure made everyone's expression change. Roar. The force pattern roared again. Clearly, Jiang Chongkong had attracted that person's attention. Peak late star path. The 3-star path martial artists were shocked. Jiang Chongkong had actually reached the peak late star path. The rest of you retreat to the 3rd floor. You 3 stay, Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. The 9 looked at each other. A star path martial artist frowned and said, all of you retreat. Listen to Lord Jiang. Jiang Chongkong's ability could kill all of them. Chongkong, your ability has improved too fast. Hua Qinglan was speechless. You're not slow either. Peak late star path, Jiang Chongkong said with a smile. The 6 of them retreated. The 3-star path martial artists asked politely, Lord Jiang, what should we do now? Jiang Chongkong said indifferently, seeing that you guys blocked in front of me just now, I'll bring you guys to get the treasure. However, you have to give me a share after this. No problem. What treasure is it? The 3 said readily. Near God technique. Near God technique? The 3 were shocked. They didn't expect it to be a near God technique. Remember, each person takes 1 item. If you take more, I will personally take your lives without that near God technique, Jiang Chongkong said coldly. Lord Jiang, don't worry. What about the rest? The 3 looked at the entrance to the 4th floor. The 6 of them retreated. Each person took 1 item. With 6 people, they could get 6 more technique. Depends on my mood. Jiang Chongkong shook his head and brought the 4 up. The triple light divine pearl was already in his arms. Chapter 398. The 5th level was indeed a near-God cultivation technique. The 3-star path martial artists obediently took only 1 set. Can I still take it? Hua Qinglan asked. I'm not sure either. You 4 go first. I'll go to the 6th level to take a look, Jiang Chongkong said. Okay. The 4 nodded. One of them asked curiously, what's on the 6th level? Near God, if you want to take a look, I'll bring you up, Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. Forget it. The 4 hurriedly shook their heads. They didn't want to see the near God with an immortal body. After letting them rest on the 3rd level, Jiang Chongkong went to the 6th level alone. On the 6th level, there was a parasol tree with a golden crow and 2 phoenixes on it. Of course, they were all statues, dead objects. More than 100 near-God corpses sat here. The near-God sat next to the parasol tree. Sensing his arrival, he raised his head with calm eyes. Jiang Chongkong said calmly, since you're alive, let's talk. You've improved a lot compared to a year ago. You're also a lot more courageous. The near-God slowly said. Courage grows with strength, Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. Although he still couldn't see through the near-God's strength, he knew that this near-God wouldn't attack. I lured you here to give you the immortal scripture, Star Path, Star Sage, and near-God technique. Lured me here? You have my mark. I can sense where you are. The near-God said indifferently, after this we won't meet again for a long time. How long is a long time? The near-God continued. If there's no accident after you become a near-God, you might meet someone like you when the star gate opens. Like me? Jiang Chongkong's heart skipped a beat. How so? Someone who has 3 daos and wants to cultivate the strongest combat body. The near-God said indifferently, of course you have more daos. Jiang Chongkong heaved a sigh of relief. You almost scared me. I thought you were someone who could level up like me. In the primordial era, immortals and mortals coexisted, dividing the starry sky into 4 seas and 8 wilderness. Earth belongs to the East Sea region. Apart from you, there are also the 3 seas and 8 wasteland. Some regions are completely extinct, but some still exist. There was no fluctuation in his tone, and he was very calm from beginning to end. This time, the star gate is to open the passage to other areas. Jiang Changkong listened quietly, not taking it to heart at all. So what if he had the supreme combat body and 3 great Taos coexisting? He could open 4 types of great Tao, but he hadn't met anyone worthy of opening them yet. Once he activated the 4 great Taos, even the ultimate combat body would be crushed by him. If he could figure out how to use a drop of star force and a star, he would be able to use 3 types of great Tao even without using 4 types of great Tao. Alright, you can go ahead and retrieve the fragment of the immortal scripture. After body refinement nearing divinity finished speaking, he didn't explain any further. Wait a moment. I would like to know if the people who retrieve the items from the 3rd floor of the palace are able to do so again, Jiang Changkong asked. No. The Supreme Combat Body shook his head. I'm giving you a chance to take the incomplete Celestial Sutra. Then let's change this chance. I want a cultivation technique that's close to God level, Jiang Changkong said. You want to reject the incomplete Celestial Sutra? The Supreme Combat Body's expression changed. Why? Because I don't need it. Even without the Star Path scripture, I still managed to figure it out and enter the late stage of the Star Path. Jiang Changkong said proudly, Star Path, near God level, I'll figure it out myself. I can level up myself. What's the use of it? I might as well exchange it for a cultivation technique that's close to God level and give it to the 3 senior sisters. The Supreme Combat Body's eyes shone with a golden light. He stared at Jiang Changkong as if he wanted to see through him. Okay, let's see if you can figure it out yourself. Jiang Changkong turned around and left, going straight to the 3rd floor. Jiang Changkong brought the 6 of them along. He let each of them choose a book, and he also chose one for himself. The attributes of 3 of them were decided by him. After taking them, Jiang Changkong searched their souls. 2 of them had done many bad things, so Jiang Changkong erased their memories. Thank you, Lord Jiang. The other 4 were grateful. At the same time, they looked at their unconscious companions with fear. It's fine. Let's go. Jiang Changkong brought them away. The group left the war palace. Hua Qinglan was a little unhappy. She didn't get anything. Jiang Changkong comforted her. There's nothing we can do about it. There are still 6 of them. They have the alliance as well. Hua Qinglan's mood turned for the better. Well, where have you been? I couldn't find you before. I went to the depths of the Void Realm and killed some people along the way. Jiang Changkong said casually and left with them. They merged with heaven and earth. When they appeared again, they were already in the territory. Hua Qinglan didn't stay long. She still had to go back and report. The others wanted to switch cultivation methods on the spot after obtaining them, and quickly left. Jiang Changkong called the 3 senior sisters and taught them the cultivation methods. He deliberately chose the ones with suitable attribute. He now had 12 complete cultivation method. He took 7 of the thunder attribute ones. The 3 star path ones also gave him 1, and there was 1 that was close to godlike. Jiang Changkong wrote them down and kept them as treasures of the territory. In the future, whoever contributed the most would be rewarded. After writing them down, Jiang Changkong went into seclusion. He was studying these cultivation method. However, they didn't mention how to turn a drop of astral power into a star. The star path carried the great Tao. The star sage transcended the great Tao they carried and walked their own path. They used their own path to suppress all other paths. As for the near godlike, they made another breakthrough in their own path and comprehended the legendary path of immortals. Helpless, Jiang Changkong could only study their understanding of the great Tao. The mark of the great Tao was the condensation of one's own great Tao. The star array was just a means to exert the great Tao. Explain the great Tao and apply it. The star embryo can carry the star array, the star body can form a special constitution, and the star body can form its own star body. Jiang Changkong sorted out the information in his mind and looked for what he needed. After thinking for a while, he couldn't think of anything. In the end, he borrowed the Nether Dragon's treasure. This thing could speed up the comprehension of the great Tao. It might be of help to him. As time passed, Jiang Changkong calmed down. The Nether Dragon, Yinan, and the three families worked together to destroy Xing Jin. Xing Jin wanted to ask the Federation to intervene, but unexpectedly, the Federation helped the Nether Dragon to destroy Xing Jin. In terms of property, Jiang Changkong and the four families divided it. Now, Jiang Changkong was also a top force in the Federation. After half a month of seclusion, Jiang Changkong kept comprehending the Great Tao and finally figured something out. Carry the Great Tao. Since he could carry the star array and form a star body, he could also carry the Great Tao and form a Tao body. People cultivated like stars, so he should cultivate more thoroughly and carve the Tao patterns into his body and flesh. Just like the real stars, the Great Tao was everywhere. If he could complete it, he would be able to cultivate a drop of star power into a star. However, Jiang Changkong didn't have time. The Interstellar Expeditionary Force was back. Beams of vast starlight flew from the starry sky into the void realm. Battleships after battleships, warriors after warriors, returned from the expedition. Jiang Changkong also walked out of the secret chamber. The expeditionary force had returned. The new batch of expeditionary force was going to the starry sky, and he had a quota. Chapter 399. Beams of starlight fell. They were all starships. Green, black, silver, all kinds of warship. These warships were engraved with a blue star and a divine dragon. It was the symbol of Earth. The warships opened and warriors in armor walked out. The void realm could not withstand the tyrannical might of the Great Path. Star Path armor. Soon, these warriors adjusted their auras and put away their armor, revealing tired and weary faces. The martial artists behind them weren't wearing Star Path battle armor, they were all wearing Star Body battle armor. Welcome back. Hua Qinglan and many other Federation members walked over and saluted. Officer Hua. The warriors returned the salute and took off their armor. They were not as strong as Hua Qinglan. Another few warriors walked out. They were not wearing armor, but they also had the same might of the Great Path. Little Qinglan. A middle-aged man smiled. It's good to see you. Uncle Lu, welcome back. Hua Qinglan stepped forward and gave him a hug. When the expeditionary army did not come down, Hua Qinglan could not smile anymore. Only 370 of the 1,500 people are left? We encountered a starry sky storm. Uncle Lu looked sad and sighed. It's a miracle that we can come back. It's good that you're back. An old man walked over with tears in his eyes. You've all worked hard. I've arranged a banquet to welcome you back. Thank you, officer. Uncle Lu saluted and said, Have there been any changes in the Federation all these years? Of course there have been changes, but it's a good thing. Our Federation has produced a genius. Because of him, we've benefited greatly. The old man smiled. Genius? Is it Jiang Changkong? I've heard a lot about him in the universe. Uncle Lu smiled. It's him. You know him too? Hua Qinglan was a little surprised. I know him. I've heard so much about him. Uncle Lu left with them, and the rest of the warriors quickly followed. A warrior said, Before we came back, we heard about the genius Jiang Changkong. We even heard his name on the way back. Yes, we all treat it as a story. On the way back, I heard a group of people say that Jiang Changkong almost destroyed the star demon. One by one, the martial artists explained. Hua Qinglan was a little surprised. Although she knew about Jiang Changkong, she was also shocked. But she didn't expect that Jiang Changkong's name had already spread to the starry sky. The news of the expeditionary army's return quickly spread throughout the void realm. Jiang Changkong looked at the information on the internet. It was almost time for the interstellar expedition to depart. 5 days later. Unless there were too many experts who wanted to go on a starry space expedition, one wave of people would return and the next wave would go. The number of casualties was not revealed. Jiang Chongkong was informed to rush over within 5 days and set off on time. As for the interstellar expedition, if nothing unexpected happened, it would take 9 months. If there was an accident, he might lose his life in the starry sky within a year. The starry sky was fraught with dangers. Even the slightest bit of carelessness could cost one his life. Only star saints could ignore the dangers of the starry sky and travel unhindered through it. The Federation sent him information, informing him of some of the dangers in the starry sky. Jiang Chongkong pulled the dark dragon and Yi Nan to look at it together. The starry sky storm was a starry sky storm formed by the gathering of all kinds of astral powers. There were strong and weak storms. The strong ones could tear apart the star path pinnacle, while the weak ones could kill star path martial artists. The cracks in the starry sky were incomparable to ordinary spatial cracks. Even the star path pinnacle could not withstand it. There were also the dead zones formed by the shattered stars. The dangers inside were also not something that the star path pinnacle could withstand. Why don't we just flatten the void realm and not go? The dark dragon was a little scared. It was afraid of the star path pinnacle that could easily kill someone. How can we not go? What's there to be afraid of? Jiang Chongkong frowned and said, "There are not many resources in the void realm. If we stay here, we will never be able to become star saints, let alone true gods." The Lord is right. We must go to the starry sky to obtain more resources. Yi Nan agreed. If you want to stay in the star path for the rest of your life, then stay. I'm just saying. We'll go wherever Brother Kong says. The dark dragon laid on the table and agreed. Following Jiang Chongkong was a lot of star path corpses, so it became a little dependent on him. With its own strength, it would not be a problem to face a mid-stage star path pinnacle, but it might not be able to keep them. Not to mention the late-stage star path pinnacle. If it wanted benefits, it could only follow Jiang Chongkong. You guys study first. I'm going back to Earth, Jiang Chongkong said. Why are you going back to Earth? Is there anyone you can't let go of? Yi Nan asked. Jiang Chongkong said, There's a spatial rift in Abyss City. The star demon is constantly rushing over, so I'm a little worried. If a high-level star demon rushed out one day, his Abyss City would be finished. I'll go with you, the dark dragon said. It only took a few minutes for the man and dragon to leave the void realm and return to Earth. The spatial rift was still there in the abyss. The spatial rift was no longer a threat to him. As long as he wanted to, he could flatten it with one hand. They entered the spatial rift without alerting anyone. The dark spatial rift led to an unknown place. One star demon after another kept rushing out into the abyss. Jiang Chongkong led the dark dragon forward for half an hour, but there was still no end. These are all low-level and mid-level star demon. I don't see any high-level ones. The dark dragon muttered unhappily, regretting following them. Jiang Chongkong looked into the depth. Where does this lead to? Where did these star demon come from? His soul power scanned the area. It was just a simple spatial rift. The two continued forward. There was still no end to the star demon in front of them. Let's go back. There's nothing good here. Now there is. Before the netherworld dragon could finish its words, one of the Jiang Chongkong raised its hand, and a palm-sized bone flew out. This bone. The dark dragon looked at the bone with a hint of confusion. There were some star runes carved on one side of the bone. On the other side there were incomplete pictures and a few lines. Even the power of the yellow springs couldn't corrode it. East Sea Region, calamity coming. Sea Race's old land, immortal treasure, East Sea? Sea Race's old land, Mermaid King? The dark dragon said excitedly, This is really a treasure. Look for the bone. Quick. Jiang Chongkong hurriedly called the dark dragon to look for the bone. The near-godly body cultivator had said that back then, the universe was divided into 4 seas and 8 wilderness. Earth was just a small place in the East Sea region. In the Sea Race's palace, the Mermaid King was only one of the 13 Sea Kings. There were still a bunch of sea kings in the East Sea region. There was also the mention of immortal treasure. It was very likely that it was the golden substance he wanted. The human and dragon hurriedly searched the spatial rift and quickly found a few more pieces. The number of bone fragments increased, and the information on it became more comprehensive. What shocked Jiang Chongkong and the Dark Dragon even more was that this was a map left behind by a sea king. It also introduced the old land of the sea race, which was the territory of this sea king. More than 10 planets were all the territories of a sea king. This sea king, the 8th sea king, was a flood dragon, a true flood dragon. Chapter 400. It took 2 days for Jiang Chongkong and Dark Dragon to gather all the bones. They left the spatial rift and returned to the Void Realm. There was no high-level star demon in the spatial rift, so there was no need to flatten it. Jiang Chongkong and Dark Dragon returned to the secret chamber in the territory and pieced the bones together. There was a star map with some areas of the East Sea marked on it. Earth was among them. Brother Kong, look here. Earth is guarded by the youngest son of the East Sea region lord, who calls himself the East Sea Dragon King. Dark Dragon pointed at a star text and said, "It seems that Earth has a strong background." There were region lords in every corner of the world, but no one knew their exact strength. According to the star text, the East Sea Dragon King was just a king in the East Sea. However, because he was the youngest son of the East Sea region lord, he was the first Sea King. This Jiao Dragon King had a good relationship with the first Sea King, which was why he recorded it. However, if the youngest son is the first Sea King, what about the other sons? Dark Dragon muttered again. Jiang Chongkong's heart skipped a beat. Back then, immortals and gods coexisted. The other descendants were most likely at the immortal level. Dark Dragon opened his mouth. That was possible. Let's not talk about that. Let's take a look at the 8th Sea King, Jiao Dragon King. Jiang Chongkong continued to read the information. The 8th Sea King had a territory of more than 10 planets and was a near-god level existence. The territory was not very far for near-gods, but it would take a long time for them to find it. Fortunately, the route was clearly marked. However, after the war, the universe might have changed greatly. It would be difficult to find it easily and would take some time. Moreover, he could not be sure if others had found the homeland of the 8th Sea King. 8th Sea Palace, Jiao Dragon Palace, where the dragons went. Jiang Chongkong read. Immortals and gods had disappeared a long time ago. They no longer coexisted with mortals. Only those below the immortal level remained in the universe, and they were called mortals. As for the Dragon Clan, they disappeared without a trace. Jiao Dragon Palace hid the whereabouts of the dragons. Did that mean the whereabouts of immortals and gods? Brother Kong, I think we're going to be rich. Dark Dragon's eyes lit up. If they could really find it, would they be able to glimpse the immortal level? Let's go to the starry sky first. Putting the map away, Jiang Chongkong said, "Don't tell anyone about this. Once we're out in the starry sky, we'll see how things go. If we're strong enough, we'll go treasure hunting. If not, we'll wait for Star Sage." All right. The Abyss Dragon nodded. Jiang Chongkong was now in the late stages of the Star Dao realm. He believed that once he reached the starry sky, he would soon reach the Star Saint realm. By the way, Brother Long, on the way to the stars, I need your treasures to go into seclusion and comprehend the Dao body. Jiang Chongkong voiced out his speculation. If I succeed, I'll pass it on to you. Little Brother Kong, isn't this too risky? The Dark Dragon frowned slightly. You are now invincible among your peers, even the peak of Star Path might not be your match. Who has the leisure to be strong? Moreover, in the future, we might encounter opponents with 3 great Daos. Jiang Chongkong smiled. When he succeeded, he would teach the other party a lesson. Not to say that 1 great Dao could beat 3 great Daos, but 3 great Daos could definitely crush them. The Dark Dragon could only say, "Then be careful. If there is anything wrong, immediately stop." Jiang Chongkong nodded, brought the dark dragon, called Yinan, and headed for the Federation. Of the 5 days, 2 had already passed. With the remaining 3 days, he could go ahead and understand more about the situation in the stars. After contacting Hua Qinglan, Jiang Chongkong appeared. "You came really fast, I just contacted you," Hua Qinglan said. "Let's go, I'll bring you to see Uncle Lu." 2 people and 1 dragon followed her into the building. Uncle Lu was watching the news, and seeing them arrive, he hurriedly stood up to welcome them. "Uncle Lu, this is Jiang Chongkong, this is the dark dragon Yinan." Hua Qinglan introduced. "This is Lu Mu, I call him Uncle Lu." "Hello, Uncle Lu," Jiang Chongkong said politely. This Uncle Lu was not weak, at the peak of the late stage of the star path. "Sit." The willow tree greeted. "Jiang Chongkong, I have heard of your name almost every day in the starry heavens." "Uncle Lu, you must be joking. With my meager strength, how can I let you listen to me every day?" Jiang Chongkong said with a smile. "Now in the stars, everyone knows about the genius you are, and they also know that you almost defeated the star demon in the depths of the stars." Lu Mu said with a smile. "All right, Uncle Lu, Chongkong is here to inquire about the situation in the stars." Hua Qinglan changed the topic. "Let's talk to him about the situation in the stars." The stars are basically all Federation, and there are also top forces. Other than the Federation, there are basically high-level and top warriors. Lu Mu nodded and began to explain. All the major forces in Federation have built bases in the stars. In the stars, there were more star demon, and they were stronger. Some planets were full of star demon. Other than the completely dead planets, there were only 2 planets without any star demon or living beings: the Moon and the Sun. Since the great changes in the stars, some of the stars had also changed, and the Sun's temperature was even more terrifying. The Moon's cold air was even stronger. Even the sea family could not withstand the cold air, and could not live in the Moon. The nearby Saturn and Mars were also occupied by the star demon. Over the years, humans had wiped out many star demon before they could snatch these planets from the star demon. "So, most of the star demon in the stars have been killed?" Jiang Chongkong asked. "No, some top star demons still occupy some planets. Among the star demon, there are also near gods." Lu Mu explained. "Also, you said that the starry sky gate has limited our development." Jiang Chongkong's expression changed. "What's the situation with that gate? What has changed now?" "That gate suppresses the stars. No matter how we fly, in which direction, that gate will appear." Lu Mu said solemnly. "Also, that gate is very strong. Near gods can't move it." "Near gods can't move it?" Jiang Chongkong's expression froze. "Yes, our guess is that it should be an immortal level gate." Lu Mu nodded. "As for the gate's changes, we should know in 2 months. 2 months? That fast?" Jiang Chongkong was a little surprised. That group of space survivors have such advanced warships? The Federation's warships would need at least 9 months to reach the base near the Stargate. That group of survivors had just gotten the key. They contacted the near gods and came back to get the key, Lu Mu explained. With the speed of the near gods, they can get back in about a month. The Federation can even get this information? Jiang Chongkong was even more surprised. The circle of near gods is only so big. They basically know everyone in the stars. Moreover, that group of space survivors claim to be creatures from other planets. They usually don't say a word about it. The Federation near gods are keeping an eye on them to prevent them from coming to the Void Realm and Earth. Lu Mu smiled and said, "Even if you didn't say anything about this, that group of survivors can forget about opening the gate quietly." Jiang Chongkong suddenly understood and felt that it made sense after thinking about it. Near gods were too terrifying. They could easily destroy a planet. They were simply a time bomb. The Federation near gods must keep an eye on them to prevent them from coming to Earth. The same was true for the star demon near gods. Almost all of them went to space and were watched by the Federation. Chapter 401. Uncle Lou, does that mean our Federation is strong enough to destroy them? Jiang Chongkong was slightly excited. The Star Demon and the Star Remnant were weaker than the Federation. Lu Mu shook his head. We can destroy them, but the price is too high. The Federation had more near gods than the Star Remnant and the Star Demon combined. But once the war started, even if they could destroy them, they would suffer heavy losses. Plus, it would affect Earth, which would be even more troublesome. They could only keep an eye on each other and not provoke each other. No matter how the people below fought to the death, the close gods did not interfere and did not fight. Jiang Chongkong understood that he had to be wary of the Star Path Peak and the Star Sage level. He asked about the experts of these two levels. The Star Path Peak was also very powerful. Some Star Path Peak comprehended their own Tao and were infinitely close to the Star Sage level. Of course, the Star Sage level was not that common. The entire Federation only had a few dozen Star Sage martial artists. As for the near gods, Lu Mu didn't say how many there were. Star Sage martial artists could already suppress a part of the galaxy. Near gods roamed the galaxy and were almost invincible unless they met near gods of the same level. For the next 3 days, Jiang Chongkong asked about the situation in the galaxy. Starlight shot into the sky. 20 battleships opened their gates to let them in. Remember to stay alive when encountering a starry storm. Don't be impulsive. If you can survive, don't feel guilty. Just run away. No one will blame you for not saving them. In front of the battleship, Lu Mu warned Jiang Chongkong with a serious expression. Once encountering a starry storm, it would be a miracle to escape without a Star Sage, let alone save them. Moreover, there were no Star Saint martialists in their expedition this time. There were only a few dozen Star Sages, and they all had to guard the galaxy. No one had time to guard the battleship. Other than Jiang Chongkong, the expeditionary force this time only had 2 peak Star Tao experts overseeing it. Uncle Lou, I will be careful. Plus, it's not easy to encounter a starry storm. Jiang Chongkong smiled and entered the battleship with Abyss Dragon and Yi Nan. Some people would not encounter a starry sky storm even after several expeditions. For some people, they would meet in a single expedition. It all depended on their luck. Inside the warship, there were more than 100 rooms. There were 2,000 people on this expedition. Expeditionary warriors, please board the battleship quickly and enter your rooms. The battleship will depart in 30 minutes. An electronic voice rang out, and everyone entered their respective rooms. Jiang Chongkong entered his room. The Abyss Dragon opened the treasure and went to its room. Jiang Chongkong took a deep breath and went into seclusion in his room. There was a sign on the door saying, "Seclusion, do not disturb." The other martial artists were basically the same as him. After entering, they entered secluded cultivation. 9 months to a year was just a short period of closed-door cultivation for this group of cultivators. There was also food. If you wanted to eat, you could go out and eat. But at their level, not eating or drinking was no longer a problem. As for the Abyss Dragon, it had always been a veteran shut-in. With a computer, if there was nothing to do, it could shut in for 100 years. Half an hour later, the battleship deactivated and turned into a beam of starlight. It rushed out of the void realm and entered the expedition. The speed of these battleships was faster than Jiang Chongkong's. They were all star-level battleships. However, these battleships were transport battleships. When it came to combat, they were not as good as professional battleships. They only knew that there were star-level battleships, but there were not many of them. The specific number was kept a secret. They were close to God level, but there were too few materials to build one. The battleship entered the vast starry sky. The expedition finally began. Inside the room, Jiang Chongkong used the Abyss Dragon's treasure to comprehend his own great path. That's right, he was comprehending his own great path, not the normal great path of the stars. He wanted to engrave his own Tao pattern on his body and integrate it with his body. The first thing he comprehended was the great path of strength. If he could bear it, his defense and strength would probably be even more terrifying. In the vast starry sky, 20 battleships quickly traveled on a certain route. A month later, Jiang Chongkong had some ideas. He studied the stars he cultivated and observed the Tao patterns on them. The Tao patterns on the stars were condensed into the Tao mark between his eyebrows. 2 months later, Jiang Chongkong found a suitable bearing mark for himself and began to engrave it. Intense pain came again. This time, the pain was even more intense. Even he groaned. Engraving the great path with his body meant suffering the pain of the great path. Fortunately, Jiang Chongkong had a strong endurance and persevered. Although it was painful, the reward was gratifying. His body no longer had Taoist rhymes. Instead, it was like some top-grade star arrays, flowing with pure Great Path imprint. The Great Path imprints integrated into every part of his body, every inch of his flesh and blood. There was also a trace of Great Path imprints in the star power. The Tao body he pursued was a world in a grain of sand, and a drop of star power turned into a star. It was done. As he continued to engrave, the Tao patterns in Jiang Chongkong's body became stronger and stronger, and the star power became more and more terrifying. His own strength and single attribute were not much worse than the previous 3 major star bodies. Among those of the same level, even if Jiang Chongkong only used the star power of one martial art, he could be said to be invincible. Another half a month passed. Jiang Chongkong had engraved 70% of the great path of strength in his body. A powerful Tao aura spread out, and the room shook slightly, showing signs of being deformed. This warship could withstand the impact of the peak of the star path, but now it could not bear his body. Jiang Chongkong quickly retracted his Tao aura, returned to normal, and continued to engrave the Tai Chi Great Path. He was very satisfied with the increase in his strength. It was more terrifying than he had imagined. One attribute could also allow him to kill enemies above his level. With his previous experience, Jiang Chongkong completed the engraving 1 day earlier this time. His strength became more and more terrifying. In his flesh and blood, Tao patterns crisscrossed, forming a Great Path body. Then, the Soul Great Path, the Moon Great Path, the Sun Great Path. However, just like before, Jiang Chongkong could not use all 7 great paths at once. At most, he could use 4, then 3. When he was engraving the Great Path of Soul, Jiang Chongkong discovered that there was a mysterious connection between his soul and body. However, this connection was very weak, and Jiang Chongkong could not figure it out, so he could only give up for now. When the last great path was completed, Jiang Chongkong quickly retracted his strength, not daring to leak any of it. If he used all his strength, this warship would definitely not be able to bear it. Looking at the time, 4 months had passed. Jiang Chongkong spent another 2 days stabilizing his cultivation before he opened the door and went to find the Abyss Dragon. "Brother Kong, you finally came out of seclusion. How was it?" The Abyss Dragon opened the door, welcomed him in, and asked hurriedly. "Of course it was a success. Brother Dragon, go into seclusion." Jiang Chongkong returned the treasure to him, pointed with a finger, and passed the research and insights to the Abyss Dragon. The Abyss Dragon received the information and could not wait to go into seclusion. Jiang Chongkong did not disturb him. He was in a good mood after successfully condensing his Tao body. He went to the warship's dining hall, and there were only 4 martial artists eating. Lord Jiang. When they saw him arrive, the martial artists stood up. "There is no need to be so polite. I am here to eat," Jiang Chongkong said. A martial artist quickly fetched some food. "Are all of you the chefs of this warship?" Jiang Chongkong sat down and asked. "You can say so. However, no one is eating, so we can only be considered part-time chef." A martial artist smiled. "Our job is to maintain the warship and prevent problems from happening. Right, Lord Jiang, Tianheng wants to talk to you. Are you going to pick it up? Chapter 402. Tianheng. Jiang Chongkong remembered this person. He was from Heavenly Star Budokai. Back then, he had joined the Wasteland Reclamation War to verify whether or not he had learned the soul-killing formation from Hua Tianrui. At that time, he had even promised to give him the position of vice-chairman. Yes, the warrior said, we received a message when we just arrived. We wanted to inform you, but you were in seclusion, so we didn't disturb you. Then, let's contact each other. Jiang Chongkong smiled. Since he was in a good mood, he decided to chat with him and see what he was up to. After a while, Jiang Chongkong couldn't contact them, so he chatted with them. The 4 warriors were all members of the alliance. The weakest was at peak star embryo realm, while the strongest was at mid-star body realm. They basically worked in the warship to maintain it. They were also chefs and could be considered logistics personnel. They were called Jing Hai, Lin Tao, Du Xian, and Wang Ruiwen. Only after they finished their meal did Tianheng's call connect. Lord Jiang, long time no see. A star power screen was formed and Tianheng appeared on it. Jiang Chongkong smiled, indeed, long time no see. Why are you contacting me? Lord Jiang should know about it, so I won't hide it from you. Hua Tianrui, Tianheng said, back then, Heavenly Star Budokai received a favor from this person. I have been searching for him but found nothing. That is, until I met Chang Kaisheng. You are not being honest. Hua Tianrui was the Flower Ocean Queen, a near-god level expert. Jiang Chongkong retracted his smile. She died many years ago and I obtained some inheritances from the ruins. How did you receive her favor? I won't hide it from Lord Jiang. Tianheng is telling the truth. A few hundred years ago, Heavenly Star Budokai faced a calamity. Senior Hua Tianrui passed by and saved Heavenly Star Budokai. Tianheng had a sincere expression. All these years, we have been searching for her to repay her favor. Jiang Chongkong frowned. A few hundred years ago. Hua Tianrui came out a few hundred years ago? Then, why didn't she take back her soul in the void world? Moreover, Hua Tianrui could save people? I just got some inheritance. I can't find Hua Tianrui. Jiang Chongkong shook his head. This. Tianheng was slightly stunned and disappointed. Jiang Chongkong looked indifferent and said, go find her yourself. Besides, I'm not familiar with Hua Tianrui. I only got the incomplete inheritance. I destroyed a part of her soul, and you want me to look for her? To hell with it. If I don't get close enough to meet her, I won't have any confidence. Hua Tianrui had saved Budokai in the starry sky hundreds of years ago. Only the heavens knew how much her strength had recovered. However, it wasn't necessarily dangerous. Although Jiang Chongkong didn't know what these people were up to, he knew that he wasn't in any danger. But he was sure of one thing, and that was that there were 2 near gods standing behind him. His body was close to divinity, his soul was close to divinity. No matter how strong Hua Tianrui was, she had to respect these 2. There were pros and cons to this. Although this brand allowed him to be found by the 2 near gods. But with the brand of these 2 near gods, those who were familiar with him would give him face. Just like the Mermaid King, when he saw the soul brand, he gave him face and did not make things difficult for him. After hanging up the communication, Jiang Chongkong sat at the side. Jing Hai walked to the side and said, Lord Jiang, if you have nothing to do, you can take a seat in the viewing cabin. Viewing cabin? Jiang Chongkong was curious. What is that place? It's a place to see the starry sky. In the viewing cabin, you can see the places where the battleships pass by. Then I'll go take a look. Jiang Chongkong followed Jing Hai to the viewing cabin. Outside the crystal barrier was the endless starry sky. Jing Hai poured him a cup of tea and sat at the side. The other 3 also came. In the starry sky, some of the stars were extremely dilapidated. Some only had half, and some only had 1/3 left. Back then, the starry sky had a great battle, and it ended up like this. Jing Hai sighed and said, I really don't know how developed the starry sky was back then. Jiang Changkong sighed softly. It should be near gods everywhere, and immortals and gods are like dogs. Lord Jiang, you must be joking. The starry sky is so big, and if we counted it all, there would be near gods everywhere. I believe that immortals and gods are like dogs, but I don't believe that we haven't found any clues about immortals and gods until now. Jing Hai and the other three laughed. Jiang Changkong did not say much. In the era where immortals and mortals coexisted, it was possible that immortals and gods were like dogs. However, that era had already passed, and no one knew what had happened. The damaged stars outside had also turned into dead regions, and there were no living beings. Time passed, and the battleship continued to travel through the starry sky. Jiang Changkong did not go anywhere, and he just sat in the viewing cabin. When they passed by some stars that he recognized, he would take a look. However, some of them exploded, and some of them turned into dead regions. The battleship did not dare to get close. Rumble! Suddenly, the battleship shook violently and the world spun. The battleship was continuously pushed away. In the distance, there was originally half a star, but under the impact of a mighty force, it turned into dust and disappeared. Even some of the intact stars had cracks on them. What happened? Jiang Changkong hurriedly walked out of the viewing cabin, and all the martial artists on the battleship walked out. Everyone, pay attention. Don't panic. It's just an unknown force that attacked this star region, and the battleship has suffered some damage. Jing Hai's voice sounded, We need half a month to repair the battleship. We will find a nearby star to land on, so please don't wander around. As his voice faded, the battleship flew towards a nearby dead star. The other 19 battleships were also damaged, and they needed to be repaired. Jiang Changkong's expression was solemn, and he understood Jing Hai's words. The unknown force had attacked this star region, and not the battleship. Moreover, the viewing cabin could see that some of the stars had turned into dust. Lord Jiang. Wang Ruiwen ran over with a solemn expression. Lord Jiang, you are the strongest in this battleship. If there is any danger later, please help. What happened? Jiang Changkong asked. We don't know either. A force has affected this region. Wang Ruiwen's expression was solemn. Our long-distance communication system is damaged, and we can't contact the Federation for now. All right, when we land, I will go down and take a look first, Jiang Changkong said after some thought. Thank you, Lord Jiang. I will report this to the Federation, and thank you for your kindness. Wang Ruiqing hurriedly expressed his gratitude. I am also a member of the Federation, and the Federation has treated me well. There is no need to stand on ceremony. Go and do what you need to do. Jiang Changkong said warmly. Wang Ruiwen left, and Jiang Changkong went to find the Abyss Dragon. The commotion just now had given the Abyss Dragon a fright. Brother Kong, what happened just now? You scared Brother Dragon to death, the Abyss Dragon said with lingering fear. I was preparing to carve the Tao body, and I almost injured myself. An unknown force has affected this star region. I will go out and take a look later. Jiang Changkong said, If there is an accident, Brother Dragon, please guard the battleship. I will go with you, the Abyss Dragon said. It is just a dead star, and there shouldn't be any danger. I alone will be enough. Jiang Changkong knew that the Abyss Dragon was concerned about him. However, although there were star paths in this battleship, they were inferior to the Abyss Dragon. If there was another accident, the Abyss Dragon could stay and deal with it. Chapter 403. It was a cracked planet with no signs of life and endless darkness. Even high-level martial artists could not see more than 100 meters away. Under the impact of the energy just now, although the planet did not turn into powder, it was cracked. Countless cracks covered the planet. Some places were on the verge of collapsing, almost breaking away from the planet and floating into space. 20 battleships arrived and hovered above the planet. They were not in a hurry to land. Rays of light radiated and spread across the entire planet. Wang Ruiwen walked over with a serious expression. Lord Jiang, the situation is not good. What's wrong? Is there something wrong with this planet? Jiang Chongkong frowned slightly. According to the detection, this planet is already dead, and the Tao has dissipated. In other words, there is no Tao power or star power here. Once you go out, you can only rely on your own star power. After you use it, you can't draw power from the planet to recover. Wang Ruiwen's expression was serious. We can only provide you with 10 bottles of peak 10th grade recovery medicine. 10 bottles is a lot. Jiang Chongkong relaxed and said, but it can't be recovered? We need more information for the specific situation. Wait a moment. Wang Ruiwen fell silent after saying that. Jiang Chongkong and him waited patiently. Not long after, Wang Ruiwen received feedback and said again, there is a new situation. There is an aura of Tao inside the planet. Jiang Chongkong raised his eyebrows. In other words, all the Tao power has been withdrawn into the planet? Yes, we have encountered this situation a few times. It is the planet's self-protection mechanism. Wang Ruiwen nodded and explained, when a planet encounters irresistible destruction, all the Tao and power will shrink into the planet's core, waiting to evolve again. Is there any danger in this situation? No. Under normal circumstances, if we don't touch the planet's core, there will be no danger. Wang Ruiwen quickly replied, however, our consumption may be 10 times or more than usual. Because the shrinking Tao will absorb all the power in the planet to evolve itself, including us. I will be careful. Jiang Chongkong nodded. Under such circumstances, 10 bottles of medicine was indeed a little too little. Especially since he had 8 martial arts and abundant energy. In addition, he had just cultivated the Taoist body, so the consumption was even greater. However, going down to take a look at the situation and finding a landing spot shouldn't consume too much energy. Wang Ruiwen passed the medicine and the communicator to Jiang Chongkong. Ka. The hatch gradually opened. Jiang Chongkong waved his hand and stepped out. As for the other warships, some warriors also came out to investigate the situation like him. Shrouded in endless darkness, Jiang Chongkong stood high in the sky, not feeling the slightest bit of gravity. This planet was already dead. Only its core and great Tao were left, waiting to be reborn. Gravity naturally didn't exist. However, there was a mysterious force trying to absorb his astral power and the aura of the Great Path. In the next moment, dense Tao patterns appeared on the surface of Jiang Chongkong's body, and the great Tao of force automatically appeared. The suction force immediately disappeared, no longer absorbing power. My Tao body should not be inferior to a planetary core. Jiang Chongkong felt slightly satisfied. The great Tao he bore was almost the same as a star core. The consumption was the same as usual, which was a relief to him. Descending from the sky, Zhang Xian scanned the area with his soul perception and found the other cultivators. The astral power of the rest of the warriors was depleting quickly. Some warriors in armor were also losing their astral power. Moreover, the speed was terrifying, more than 10 times faster than before. However, the energy in their armors was enough to last a few hours, which was enough for them to investigate. He landed quickly. There was no living creature in the darkness. Jiang Chongkong stepped on the pitch-black soil. The speed of astral power absorption was even faster here. With a thought, Jiang Chongkong sent a voice transmission to the other warriors. Don't come down. The speed of astral power absorption is very fast. You guys go up. Thank you, Lord Jiang. The other warriors sent a voice transmission, but they didn't leave. But the situation here is weird. Lord Jiang, let's stay. We can take care of each other. The warships are investigating. There's no danger. It's just the consumption of astral power. Too many people is just a waste of astral power, Jiang Chongkong replied. All right. Then be careful, Lord Jiang. What's that? A terrified cry came. Jiang Changkong's expression changed. He sent his soul power out, but there was nothing. What happened just now? Jiang Changkong asked. I don't know. I only saw a black shadow flash behind me. A warrior replied. The warship didn't detect any life waves, but there was indeed another astral power wave around you just now. The warship glowed and a voice came immediately. Everyone, come up immediately. We will change to another planet to rest. Let's go. The warriors immediately flew into the sky, planning to return to the warship. Jiang Changkong didn't linger and flew up. Chi-chi. Some sparks suddenly appeared in the endless darkness. Black shadows flashed past and sparks appeared on the star path armor. Jiang Changkong's clothes were also torn, but there were no wounds on his body. He felt that he was attacked by something. But this thing wasn't that powerful and couldn't break through his Taoist body's defense. However, his soul power couldn't detect the other party at all. When he attacked, that thing disappeared. It disappeared into thin air without leaving a trace. Everyone, hurry up. This thing is a bit strange. Jiang Changkong transmitted his voice to the warriors. He flashed to the celestial body warriors and enveloped them with astral power before flying up. He had to bring them along so that he could return quickly. In the darkness, things kept attacking, but Jiang Changkong still couldn't see anything. After sending the warriors onto the warship, Jiang Changkong returned to his own warship. Lord Jiang, did you see what was below? Wang Ruiwen asked. No. That thing is very strange. Even soul power can't detect it. Jiang Changkong shook his head. Let's go. Leave this place immediately. Wang Ruiwen transmitted to the others in the Federation. Jiang Changkong was one of the strongest warriors here. If he couldn't even see what it was, they naturally couldn't stay here. The warship started up. Wang Ruiwen's expression changed slightly. Lord Jiang, I just got the data. When you were attacked, there was the power of the Great Tao. You're saying that this star is attacking us? Jiang Changkong was surprised. We didn't touch this star core, right? I'm not sure. Maybe the impact just now startled the star core. Wang Ruiwen said. Jiang Changkong looked at the hole on his clothes. This looks like a living creature's claw. There were 3 cracks, as if they were made by sharp claws. However, the power of the Great Tao could also cause it. He didn't think too much about it. Boom! In the distance, 2 warships suddenly shook. Jiang Changkong and Wang Ruiwen's expressions changed. The warship's door flew out and floated in the air. Warriors fainted in the darkness. The astral power in their bodies was quickly dissipating. Something followed us in just now. Jiang Changkong's expression was gloomy. Was this really the power of the Great Tao? The damaged warship didn't move anymore. It floated there and didn't descend. Of the 18 warships, some of them shook but soon calmed down. They continued flying into the starry sky. Dong dong. Something seemed to be knocking on the warship. The entire warship was shaking. A sharp claw that looked like 3 long sabers appeared at the window of the warship. It moved with all its might, trying to open the warship. Chapter 404. A planet that was supposed to be dead actually had life forms. Furthermore, they were strange and couldn't be seen clearly. Martial artists, please take note. An accident has occurred. Please prepare for battle. Martial artists, please take note. Please prepare for battle. The situation is unclear. Please prepare for battle. Conserve star power and prevent unnecessary consumption. Jing Hai's voice resounded throughout the warship. Open the hatch, Jiang Changkong said coldly. I will go out and see what these things are. Wang Ruiwen said solemnly, Lord Jiang, this place is too strange. We plan to fly out at full speed. What about those 2 warships? Jiang Changlu pointed at the 2 warships in the distance. He didn't know what was going on inside. Lord Jiang, have you forgotten Lord Lu Mu's instructions? It is a miracle that you are still alive. You can't be merciful when you encounter an accident in space. Wang Ruiwen said solemnly and patted Jiang Changkong's shoulder. The warships can stop them. Our 18 warships can leave. Open it. I will go out and take a look, Jiang Changkong said expressionlessly. They can't harm the warships. They can't harm me either. Lord Jiang, you, open it. I will use great Tao power to protect it and won't let anything in. Jiang Changkong raised his palm and great Tao power covered the hatch. Alright, but you have to follow closely. Wang Ruiwen had no choice but to open the hatch. The moment the hatch opened, the strange life form charged in and slammed into the great Tao power. This was a humanoid creature, only its arms and limbs were all sharp blades, like blades and swords. Bang! Turned into a blood mist. Green blood was left at the hatch. Jiang Changkong stepped out of the battleship. In the void, there were countless strange life forms surrounding the battleship, densely packed and seemingly endless. Lord Jiang, be careful. According to the detection, the great Tao of this planet is recovering. Wang Ruiwen's voice came from the communicator. The warship is filled with those strange life forms. I will go take a look at the 2 warships. Jiang Changkong turned into a beam of light and charged towards the 2 warships. The 2 warships were filled with strange life forms. They were like locusts covering the sky and land. Great Sunday, Jiang Changkong pointed a finger, and a great sun hung in the void, shining through the darkness. Rumble! The sunlight shone like stars, and the patterns of the great path were faintly discernible in the sunlight. 1 drop of star power, 1 star. Under the terrifyingly high temperature, the strange creatures were melting. Jiang Changkong controlled the great sun and did not damage the battleship. The living beings dissipated, and Jiang Changkong charged into the battleship. There was a battle going on inside. A group of martial artists was fighting desperately against strange creatures. Star Path martial artists could kill a group of living beings the moment they made a move. However, some of these beings had actually reached the Star Tao level and were not slow in killing their people. Of the 100 or so martial artists, only 20 or so were left, and they were still bitterly resisting. Jiang Changkong could easily detect these living beings when they manifested themselves. The divine driving art swept out and enveloped the other battleship. The great Tao of the soul directly wiped out the living beings in the warship. Roar! With a low roar, a Star Tao living being charged at Jiang Changkong. Its 4 limbs were as sharp as blades, and they carried terrifying starlight. Jiang Changkong's body did not move, and a formless force swept past, causing the Star Tao living being to explode. The rest of the Star Demon also turned into green blood mist. Jiang Changkong was slightly surprised. A jade bone flew out from the Star Tao living being. The great Tao power was dense, and the Tao patterns were densely covered. Essence, energy, and spirit, 100 unable to be extracted. The other living beings also had some jade bones, but they were too small and useless to him. Thank you, Lord Jiang. The martial artists hurriedly went up and cupped their hands. No need to thank me, I will go take a look elsewhere. Jiang Changkong turned and left. On the other battleship, the martial artists were fighting, but the strange creatures were all stopped, and they immediately exploded into blood mist. In the darkness, the great sun hung high in the sky, rays of sunlight shone in all directions, and all the strange creatures were dissipating. The great Tao revived, and the dead stars started to restart. The heaven and earth also recovered a bit, and colorful clouds appeared in the sky. Energy was also recovering, and new shoots broke out of the ground. The cracked ground was slowly healing, and some water appeared on the dry land. Rumble! In the sky there was the sound of thunder, and dark clouds surged as lightning flashed. Roar! Shocking roars came from below, and one strange creature after another crawled out from the cracks below, landing on the ground. Looking at the sun in the sky, these creatures kept roaring. Swoosh, swoosh. The sound of air being torn could be heard, and figures soared into the sky. Their target was still the warship and Jiang Changkong. They are really courting death. Jiang Changkong snorted coldly, and the great sun released thousands of starlight, and each starlight was like a small planet. Rumble! A terrifying mushroom cloud bloomed on this star, and destruction descended on this planet once again. Roar! With a roar, a monstrous aura surged, and the dense power of the great Tao spread out like sharp blades. Jiang Changkong did not dodge, and he allowed the sharp blades to fall. Clang! The sharp blades landed on Jiang Changkong's body, but he was not injured at all. A tyrannical force rebounded, and the sharp blades broke. Jiang Changkong grabbed the strange creature's neck, and his eyes shone with a demonic light. Soul search. Images appeared in his mind, and Jiang Changkong finally understood what was going on with these creatures. A bunch of pests of the great Tao. Or rather, they were parasites of the great Tao. Of course, this was not a true Tao fusion, but a parasite of the great Tao to absorb its power. After the war, this star was almost destroyed. The creatures here did not dare to walk out of the starry sky. A group of people at the peak of the star Tao did not study the star sage realm, but found another way to parasitize the great Tao. They merged into the great Tao, which was somewhat similar to Tao fusion, except that Tao fusion was to complete the great Tao, while they were parasites. The great Tao existed forever, and there was almost no limit to life. Even if it was destroyed, as long as the star core and the great Tao existed, it could repeat. These creatures were waiting for the great Tao to repeat, and the impact from before had alarmed them. And because they were parasites and absorbed the power of the great Tao, the power of this star was decreasing, and it could not repeat. Jiang Changkong and the others came. They wanted to obtain power and keep them here forever. And because these creatures were parasites and absorbed the great Tao, they began to evolve towards the great Tao, cultivating part of the Tao body, and condensing Tao bones. The jade bones he obtained were Tao bones. These creatures appeared and attacked them, causing the great Tao of this star to revive. But if he could not keep them here and replenish their power, after this star would probably die completely, and the star core might collapse. After seeing these images, Jiang Changkong's eyes turned cold. In that case, I'll kill all these pests. The blazing sun kept shedding divine light, and large numbers of creatures turned into ashes. This time, Jiang Changkong held back a bit and preserved the Tao bones. Like a small asteroid colliding, the star started to crack again. In the starry sky, fireworks bloomed and sunlight rushed into the sky, and the lightning also dissipated. Lord Jiang, you've already opened a path, we can go. Wang Ruiwen's voice came from the communication device. Jiang Changkong replied, You guys wait outside first, I'll catch up after I kill these bugs. Wang Ruiwen, are you saying that you want to flatten this star? Chapter 405. I said, let there be light. Jiang Changkong's voice spread across the entire planet. In an instant, the sun released endless starlight, illuminating every corner of the planet. Even underground, the sunlight still pierced through, and everywhere it passed, there was only destruction. Roar! Shocking roars resounded again. Many terrifying figures appeared, and the aura of the great Tao was extremely dense. It surpassed 70% of the great Tao. The terrifying existences at the peak of the star path had finally appeared. And there were more than 100 of them. Perfect, I'll use you guys to practice. Jiang Changkong punched out, shaking the peak of the star path head-on. Clang! With a loud sound, majestic Tao might surged in all directions, shattering the void. Two figures were forced back at the same time. With the late-stage star path great Tao of strength, it was even stronger than the peak of the star path. Roar! The other peak of the star path covered the sky and earth, bringing with them a monstrous Tao might. At this time, the battleship had already rushed out of the planet. The two damaged battleships were also put away by them, and the martial artists were all on the other battleship. A screen was projected, and it showed the scene of Jiang Changkong's battle. Many martial artists looked at the barrier in shock. More than 100 peak of the star path, this planet is actually so terrifying. The terrifying one is Lord Jiang, okay? Didn't you see? He is not afraid at all. But with more than 100 of them attacking together, I'm afraid. Oh my god! Too terrifying is this Lord Jiang's strength. On the screen, Jiang Changkong's punch landed, and a peak of the star path exploded. The terrifying essence chi smoke rushed out of the planet and into the starry sky. The 8 martial arts all turned into the indestructible golden body star power. His body expanded, turning into a 1,000-meter-tall giant, and his strength doubled again. The void could not bear it, and a large area of the void was annihilated, turning into nothingness. His body was densely covered with Tao patterns of strength. He is probably 1,000 meters tall, right? The martial artists were shocked. My little brother is so terrifying? The Abyss Dragon's eyes flashed, and it was very excited. Looking at the Tao patterns on Jiang Changkong's body, it became even more determined to form a Tao body. It was too terrifying. Its 1,500-meter-tall body was like a small loach in front of Jiang Changkong. Every move could destroy the heavens and the earth, and the star path collapsed. A formless force spread out, melting everything. The entire star disappeared in a large area. Those peak star path lifeforms could not break his defense. The power of the great path could not shake the golden body. Jiang Changkong could kill enemies of a higher level with just his strength alone. Every bit of power was pure great Tao, overbearing 70% of the great Tao. Even if it was a 100% great Tao, how many attacks could it withstand? Some ordinary peak star Tao were no different from ants in front of Jiang Changkong. Roar! An earth-shattering roar sounded again, and another 3 figures stepped out. The auras of these 3 figures were extremely strong, faintly showing signs of surpassing the peak of the star path. This is a martial artist who has walked his own path and is infinitely close to becoming a star saint. Within the warship there was a solemn atmosphere. Lord Jiang, I'm afraid it's dangerous. Quick, inform Brother Kong. Don't damage the corpse. This corpse is delicious, the Abyss Dragon said excitedly. Everyone, don't mess around. These are 3 existences that are infinitely close to becoming star saints, and you still want to eat them? In the image, the 10,000-foot-tall figure changed. Half of its body was dark gold, while the other half was transparent. Black and white yin and yang Tao patterns covered his entire body. The Tai Chi Great Tao. Facing these 3, Jiang Changkong felt a dangerous aura. If he only used the Force Great Tao, he might be at a disadvantage. Roar! The 3 strange beings carried a monstrous Tao might, faintly suppressing Jiang Changkong's great Tao. Jiang Changkong still punched. Boom! The fist that was formed by the convergence of 3 great Taos shattered everything, like a sharp blade of annihilation. One of the beings exploded, and its body quickly healed as it was stepped under Jiang Changkong's feet, suppressed by the 3 great Taos. The 3 Tao patterns on the surface of his body shone, and his 3 great Tao bodies emitted boundless starlight. The ancient aura of the great Tao and the mysterious Tao patterns automatically manifested and spread in the void. At this moment, Jiang Changkong was like an eternal great Tao. Brother Dragon, you're right. The martial artist swallowed. This combat power, Star Saint? With a palm, another being was smashed into a meat patty. The 3 beings that were infinitely close to becoming Star Saints did not even cause a ripple. An invisible force spread, and the shattering stars stopped. All the destructive power was forcefully suppressed. There were no longer any living beings on the ground, only corpses and jade bones. Some faint souls were merging with the world. Some of the dead creatures reappeared. Parasitizing the great Tao, as long as the power of the great Tao was not extinguished, the soul would not die and could exist forever. A small dark green tree rose and countless roots spread out, devouring the souls. Under the soul-stabilizing tree, all the souls turned into nourishment, allowing it to grow quickly. 1 person to destroy a star, even though this is a broken star. Lord Zhang's strength, even if he is not as strong as a star saint, he is close. The martial artists on the 18 warships were all excited. With him here, we just need to be careful this time. There should not be any big problems in the future, the martial artists said excitedly. A day later, the last soul was devoured. The soul-stabilizing tree was almost 4 meters tall. Sinking into his body, Jiang Chongkong touched the communicator. The danger has been resolved. Come down. This place is temporarily having a final radiance, and it will not absorb star power. There was no hope for this star, unless someone took the initiative to inject power into the star core of this star. But this power was too great, and even Jiang Chongkong could not bear it. The warship landed, and Jiang Chongkong's body returned to normal. The Abyss Dragon rushed out immediately, opened Yellow Spring, and absorbed the corpses. Brother Dragon, keep this. Jiang Chongkong took out the jade bones and said, You guys keep this too. This thing was similar to star crystals. He did not know how many he had destroyed this time, but it was not a small harvest. There were tens of thousands of star Dao level ones, and only a few at the peak. The star saint level was hard to count, and needed to be scanned. Lord Jiang, this thing is a great Dao? The martial artists looked at the jade bones and said in shock. Yes, these beings live in the great Dao, struggling at death's door. Jiang Chongkong explained. It was precisely because of this parasitism that their development was limited. If they did not live as parasites but entered the galaxy, then these beings could definitely become a powerful force. Even the last 3 killed would not only be infinitely close to star saints, but at least star saints. They might even be close to God level. Unfortunately, the beings of this star were scared out of their wits when they fought in the galaxy. They did not dare to set foot in the galaxy and wanted to live in the great Tao. Compared to them, the ignorant were fearless on Earth. They did not experience the great Tao, but they had the courage to pursue it. The martial artists looked excited and hurried to collect the jade bones. Lord Jiang, can you let us imprint a copy of this thing? A martial artist said, We only want these great Tao patterns, not anything else. Sure. Jiang Chongkong nodded. These were the most primitive great Tao, which was equivalent to exposing the great Tao and imprinting it. It was much better than star arrays. Even without the jade bones, just comprehending these great Tao patterns would be a great harvest. What Jiang Chongkong needed was essence, qi, and spirit. He would not lose any of these patterns even if he gave them a copy, so he was generous. These beings were basically all high-level and had jade bones. The great Tao patterns were also of great help to high-level martial artists. Once these great Tao patterns were transmitted back, it would be of great help to Earth's martial arts. Chapter 406. If possible, Jiang Chongkong wanted to turn this place into a breeding ground. However, he needed to invest energy to maintain the star core and let these beings grow. Even the Earth Federation couldn't afford such a huge expenditure. It could only be harvested in one go. Half a month later, the warship was repaired and set sail again. Jiang Chongkong's Tao bones were also dealt with. Low grade rank 9, 8 million. Middle grade, 6 million. High grade, 5 million. High grade, 800,000. Low grade rank 10, 50,000. Middle grade, 10,000. High grade, 5,000. High grade, 165. Essence, energy, and spirit, 285. 566 million. After all, this was a star. Furthermore, it was a parasite. There were almost no weaklings among these beings. Unfortunately, this group of people would only be like this for the rest of their lives. He had already perfected 2 martial arts. He would first perfect 6 martial arts and then step into the peak of the star Tao. The Abyss Dragon needed it for its seclusion. It already knew how to carve it and would be able to come out soon. The warship team had already contacted the Federation and found out what was going on. The star gate opened. A mighty force rushed out when the star gate opened. The two near gods of the Star Remnant natives and the Star Demon were heavily injured on the spot. Their injuries were also very serious. Without large amounts of near-god grade medicine, they would probably need to rest for hundreds of years. As for near-god grade medicine, even a bottle was a rare item. And they wanted large amounts? For this matter, the Federation was grateful to Jiang Chongkong. He was very wise to hand over the key. Otherwise, the ones injured would be the near-gods of Earth. As for the near-god of the Star Demon, it was completely unlucky. It followed along and was affected. Its injuries weren't light at all. It could only blame itself. Other than the near-gods, the Star Saint martial artist also died. A few Star Dao martial artists also died. Not to mention the high-level martial artists. Opening a gate resulted in heavy losses. The Earth Federation almost died from laughter. Moreover, Jiang Chongkong had destroyed a star and obtained large amounts of information on the Dao patterns. The Federation even specifically asked Jiang Chongkong if he wanted a space base, and the Federation would help build it for free. Jiang Chongkong didn't want it. He only wanted the Federation to allow the warriors from his territory to be with the Federation in the future. This time, he was going to the galaxy with the Netherworld Dragon to search for the 8th Sea King's homeland. He did not have time to develop a base. Coupled with the opening of the Stargate, who knew what other dangers there would be? What if they couldn't hold on? After digesting this information, it was time to continue on with their journey. The Abyss Dragon spent a month to finish carving his path body, and another month to digest most of the corpse. He entered the late stage of Star Path and was close to the limit. There were still many Star Path corpses that had not been digested. Once they were digested, they would probably be able to step into the peak of Star Path. Knowing that Jiang Chongkong wanted to go into seclusion and needed treasures, the Abyss Dragon came out of seclusion and gave him the treasures for him to go into seclusion. It was still counting on Jiang Chongkong to kill a Star Sage in the future, so it could eat a better corpse. In these 2 months, Jiang Chongkong had perfected 4 types of martial arts. He did not stand on ceremony and went into seclusion with the treasures. Because of the delay, there was still a long way to go. There were occasional small problems along the way, but the battleship solved them on its own. The journey was smooth and large planets flashed past quickly. Mars, Saturn, and the others had long passed. Their base this time was near the Stargate, which was very far from Earth. Because they were not the first to bear the brunt of the mighty impact, and because Earth was prepared, the losses were not great. Along the way, they kept in touch with the Federation. There were already teams passing through the starry sky to explore. The Star Demon and the immigrants entered the Stargate at the first opportunity, but there was no news for the time being. It was possible that the immigrants would not return, or they could bring back power to counterattack Earth. But there was no other way. If they wanted to develop, they had to open the Stargate. Until now, the Federation had only found another stone box on the other side of the Stargate. In other words, if someone was on the other side of the gate and could open the stone box, they could also obtain a key to open the Stargate. Time flowed on. Another few months passed. An enormous starry sky gate, shining with golden light, stood in the starry sky. The starry sky was so huge that the planets in front of it were like dust. Jiang Chongkong had also woken up from his seclusion. His Dao patterns were hidden in his body, not revealing any aura. In his eyes, the great Dao formed mysterious patterns. Jiang Chongkong. Star Path Peak Top Grade Inferior Martial Art. Indestructible Golden Body. Perfect. 1 out of 171. 5 million Tai Chi Sutra. Perfect. 1/171. 5 million Sun Sutra. Perfect. 1/171. 5 million Moon Sutra. Perfect. 1/171. 5 million Death Heavenly Blade. Perfect. 1 for 171. 5 million Sky Imperial Scripture. Perfect. 1/171. 5 million Cloud Dao. Perfect. 1/171. 5 million top-grade array Tao, battle body star formation, incomplete perfect, 1/171. 5 million essence, energy, spirit, 1386312887 large planets carried 80% of the great Tao. The Tao patterns on Jiang Changkong's body were extremely dense. Every part of his body was filled with 80% of the great Tao. As the soul Tao was carved, he felt the connection between his soul and body become more and more subtle. The soul Tao and force Tao also resonated with each other. Together, they were probably not weaker than the sun and the moon. We're here. We'll reach the base in a month at most. Jing Hai's excited voice came from the battleship. Martial artists, get ready. We'll reach the base in a month at most. One martial artist after another walked out of the room. The dark dragon was holding a dish and eating happily. Jiang Changkong walked out of the room and returned the treasure to the dark dragon. Brother Kong, you're finally out? The dark dragon dropped the dish and flew to him. Quick, tell me how much you're at. Jiang Changkong smiled. Star Path Peak. Thank you, Brother Dragon. Don't be so polite. Without you, I'd probably still be at the early stage of Star Path. The dark dragon swayed its tail and said, I've also been in seclusion for the past few months. I'm at the peak of the late stage. I'll catch up to you soon. How's the carving of the Tao body? Jiang Changkong asked. I've caught up. Now I, your brother dragon, can beat anyone in the same realm except you, the dark dragon said proudly. It could now be said to be invincible among those in the same realm, provided that it did not encounter Jiang Changkong and the three great battle physiques cultivators. Jiang Changkong nodded and brought it to the observation cabin. There were still many damaged stars outside. He did not know where they were. Looking at the time, it had already been 10 months. There was still a month before they would reach the base. It had been almost a year of flying. He did not know which star region he was in now. He was completely far away from Earth. After another half a month, the star where the base was seemed to be close at hand. The starry sky storm is here. Everyone, pay attention. It's forcefully changing directions. A voice came from the battleship again. Jiang Changkong's expression changed slightly. Star power of various colors appeared in the starry sky ahead, giving off a rainbow light. The great Tao aura on this star power was very dense. When it gathered together, it formed a storm. Trying to contact the base. Contact failed. Signal cut off. There's someone in the starry sky storm. Jing Hai's voice came again. There's someone in the starry sky storm? The 18 battleships shook at the same time. Only star saints could survive in the starry sky storm. Even if they were infinitely close to star saints, it was impossible for them to survive. Lord Jiang, please take action and suppress the starry sky storm. If you can't, please escape alone. Jing Hai's solemn voice came. Chapter 407. In the huge starry sky storm, all kinds of star power intertwined like colorful fireworks. Under the beautiful appearance, there was only endless terror. Everywhere it passed, the meteorites in the sky and some broken planets were all turned to dust. A man with green scales on his body stepped into the starry sky storm. He was like a divine mountain, not moving an inch. In the starry sky storm, it is not an earthling or a star demon. The 18 battleships changed direction at the same time to avoid being sucked into the starry sky storm. The 18 battleships could not resist the power that could tear apart the peak of the star path. The cabin door opened, and Jiang Changkong stepped into the starry sky. He turned into a stream of light and came before the starry sky storm. The Tao patterns covered his body like chains, and a powerful Tao might swept in all directions. Everywhere the Tao might passed, the starry sky storm stopped and could not move forward. Jiang Changkong was like an iron wall. No matter how powerful the starry sky storm's Tao patterns were, they could not break through his Tao might. Interesting human. You are the genius that walked out of the broken ball? The green-scaled man looked at him with interest. I heard that a monster appeared in the broken ball. Is it you? Jiang Changkong said calmly. You came from the other side of the door? That's right. I did not want to care about the broken ball's area, but you opened it yourself. The man's expression was indifferent. He stood in the center of the storm with his hands behind his back. One move. If you do not die, I will give you a chance to surrender. No one who talks to me like this is still alive, Jiang Changkong said calmly. Green Wind Path. The green-scaled man had a thick Dao rhyme. An azure sword appeared in the man's hand, and an azure sword aura shot out. The green wind path split the starry sky storm wherever it passed. Jiang Changkong did not dodge. The Dao patterns flashed around him, and he let the azure sword aura fall. Seeing this, the man frowned and his eyes turned cold. The people in the broken ball are really ignorant. They are seeking their own death. Clang! Boom! The azure sword aura fell, but it suddenly exploded. The power of the Dao rushed in all directions, and the starry sky storm was affected and weakened. Jiang Changkong's body glowed with a dark golden light. A thin sword mark appeared on his forehead, and golden blood dripped down. How could this be? The green-scaled man's face darkened. His attack had only scratched the skin? Although it was just a casual move, it still used his own great Dao and Star Saint weapon. Are you an early-stage Star Saint? Jiang Changkong opened and closed his eyes. He had already circulated all the energy in his body to form the indestructible golden body, yet he was still injured. The dripping golden blood flew back and entered Jiang Changkong's body, instantly healing his injuries. The green-scaled man panicked a little, but he forced himself to calm down. He hadn't used his full strength yet, and he still had some tricks up his sleeve. You already have the chance to submit to me. Submit. He had his hands behind his back and a proud expression on his face. Is the outside world full of idiots? Jiang Changkong's eyes were cold as he stepped into the starry sky storm. Since you don't understand human language, I'll take it myself. Roar. With a low roar, his body rapidly increased in size. 1,000 zhang gold body. The starry sky storm couldn't withstand the overbearing might of the Wei and shook violently. Much of the star power was forcibly dispersed by the might of the Wei. A terrifying aura, vigorous blood, and 10 lines of power, like 10 divine dragons, shuttled back and forth on the surface of his body. It was as if an ancient demon god had descended into the world. The green-scaled man's expression was solemn. This terrifying aura was no weaker than his own. It was supposed to be a small ball, but now a monster had come out? Most importantly, this wasn't even the legendary ultimate combat physique cultivator, but the great Dao of strength. His palm was like a curtain of the sky, pressing down with intertwining lines, shining brightly. As the palm fell, the starry sky storm dissipated. The terrifying might of the Wei dimmed the scales on the man's body. Kill, green wind cutting stars. The man roared, and the green sword aura rose again, but this time, there was a golden light mixed in with the green light. Boom! As the palm fell, the green sword aura collapsed again. Jiang Changkong's palm paused, and the golden light directly entered his body. The golden light entered his body and turned into threads, trying to control his body. However, the 7 great Dao in his body manifested at the same time, and the golden light directly dissipated. Little guy, you've been poisoned by my puppet poison. Become my puppet. He leaped up and directly jumped onto the back of Jiang Changkong's hand with a cold expression. Jiang Changkong frowned slightly. He felt that this guy wanted to laugh himself to death. Puppet poison? Your puppet is so powerful that it can control 7 great Dao? The young man muttered something, and the green light on his body became dense, splitting into countless threads, trying to control Jiang Changkong. Ding! Dang! Dang! However, these threads couldn't break through his defense. Jiang Changkong's left hand moved and slapped toward his right hand, his speed reaching the limit. The green scales glowed again, and the man ruthlessly pulled out a few pieces, saying viciously, "Green wind great Tao, break, bang!" Jiang Chongkong clasped his hands together, feeling like he had killed a fly. "Damn it, how can you betray your master?" The man's figure came from his hands. Jiang Chongkong rubbed his hands and let out another blood-curdling scream. The 18 warships were silent. They were completely frightened. They thought that Jiang Chongkong couldn't block a sword, but who knew that this star saint couldn't block a slap from Jiang Chongkong? They felt that Jiang Chongkong was the star saint, and the other party was the star Tao. Thinking back to before, Jiang Chongkong faced 3 opponents who were infinitely close to star saints on a dead star, and he even opened 3 great Tao. Now, he had suppressed a star saint with just the great Tao of power. After rubbing a few times, Jiang Chongkong held the star saint in his hand. "This guy is quite spirited." The aura around him circulated, the soul great Tao fluctuated, and the black and white Tai Chi diagram flashed. The star saint in his hand narrowed his eyes. 3 great Tao. However, shouldn't it be the great Tao of Yin, great Tao of Yang, and great Tao of strength? This soul, Tai Chi, and great Tao of strength, could these be considered the strongest combat body? The green wind great Tao in his body kept erupting, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't shake Jiang Chongkong at all. If he opened a great Tao and this guy fought with all his strength instead of using puppet poison, Jiang Chongkong was confident that he could defeat him, but he might not be able to keep him here. He opened 3 great Tao and casually rubbed them together. The power of the 3 great Tao exploded in his hands and attacked the scaled man. Boom! The scaled man exploded, but he didn't die and quickly recovered. Jiang Chongkong continued to attack, but he still didn't die. His aura was getting weaker and weaker. The scaled man's aura was weak, and he started to beg for mercy. But before he could finish his words, a powerful soul strength rushed into his body and searched his soul. The power in his body was also converted into the power of the heaven-controlling scripture. A scene appeared in his mind. Jiang Chongkong obtained this person's aura, and his killing intent could no longer be suppressed. The soul-stabilizing tree flew out and swallowed the soul, taking this person's spatial equipment. Endless starlight bloomed, and the remaining starry sky storm was all wiped out. Jiang Chongkong took out his communication device. "Take this corpse and give it to the Netherworld Dragon. Something happened at the base. I'll go take a look first." After saying that, he threw the corpse away, turned into a stream of light, and disappeared. His speed had already surpassed that of a battleship. There was still half a month left, and he could reach there in 4 or 5 days. Chapter 408. From the Star Sage's memory, Jiang Chongkong knew a bit about the situation outside. Among the stars there were all kinds of forces. The one with green scales belonged to the Green Scale Clan. The Green Scale Clan had the ancient Green Snake bloodline, but they were not doing well. The strongest in the clan was a mid-stage Star Sage. The one he killed was the 3rd strongest of the Green Scale Clan, an early-stage Star Sage. The Green Scale Clan was a small lord in the stars, occupying a few abandoned planets. Forces like the Green Scale Clan were everywhere in the stars. Apart from these small lords, there were also some big lords with Star Sages at their peak. There were also some super lords with god-level cultivators, but they were still some distance away. The strongest ones were in the distant stars, established by a few god-level cultivators. They called themselves the Celestial Nation and the Divine Nation. As for places further away, he didn't know. He also didn't know if the starry gates in the other 4 seas and 8 desolates had opened. In the stars, the Celestial Nation and the Divine Nation occupied hundreds and thousands of planets. Of course, there were some wandering cultivators who were close to god-level cultivators. No one knew where they were hiding. The Green Scale Clan was in the East Sea region. The Celestial Nation belonged to the West Sea region. The Divine Nation was in the East Sea region, a local force. There were 12 Stargate, corresponding to the 4 seas and 8 wastelands. Of course, not all of the 4 seas and 8 wastelands were isolated, only some areas. The celestial nation came from the isolated area. Hundreds of years ago, they came from the West Sea region. It was said that the emperor of the celestial nation was a cultivator of the 3 great combat physique. The Green Scale Clan didn't know what level the 3 great war bodies had reached. The Green Scale Clan had discovered the Stargate stone box a long time ago, but they gave up. This was because Earth withdrew from the Starry Sky competition after the ancient times, and did not participate in the Star Wars. At that time, Earth was very poor and was still in the era of cold weapons. There was not a single cultivator, and they could not even go to the stars. How could they fight? Thus, during the Star Age, Earth had a nickname, Little Broken Ball. No one wanted to come to a primitive planet. This was also why the survivors of the stars called the Celestial Palace primitive. He didn't have any treasures, nor did he have any technology. Plus, opening the Stargate was dangerous. Even God-level cultivators would be severely injured. This news came from the Celestial Nation and the Divine Nation. Therefore, no one wanted to open the Starry Sky Gate. It was a strenuous and unrewarding task. Who knew that the Starry Sky Gate would be opened, and a group of people would charge out? The Green Scale Clan came in to take a look. Who would have thought that the Earthlings would actually develop so quickly and walk into the starry sky from a small broken ball? The Green Scale race wanted to occupy the base and use it as a springboard to take over Earth. Some news had even spread that the Green Scale race planned to rope in a few feudal lords and great feudal lords to attack Earth together. They could be considered to have picked up a bargain. The deities brought along a few star-sacred warriors to explore the way. If the near gods stayed here, they probably wouldn't even be able to enter the door. Jiang Chongkong sorted out the information and found what he was looking for, the golden substance. The Green Scale tribe had them, but not many. The other lords all had some, but they didn't know how to use them. After digesting this information, he finally understood what the saying, "When the tiger is absent, the monkey is king," meant. Our Earth Federation has dozens of star sages and even near gods. Do you think we'll be bullied by you? Once they killed their way over, it would be the third nation. Even star sages could become starry lords. Are they looking down on our Federation? 5 days later, Jiang Chongkong arrived at the star where the base was located. Within the star, living beings covered the sky and covered the earth, densely packed together. Outside the star, several star sages were fighting. In the starry sky, the great path and the collision of star sages shook the starry sky. 3 Earth star sages, 1 in the late stage, 1 in the middle stage, and 1 in the early stage. 4 alien star sages, 1 in the late stage, 2 in the middle stage, and 1 in the early stage. Now the Earth star sages were at a disadvantage. The star sage of the early stage was struggling, his body covered with golden lines. Puppet poison. This puppet poison would split into countless threads and spread all over the human body. Combined with a secret technique, it could turn people into puppet. From the memory that Jiang Chongkong obtained, these people loved this poison. The star sages in the early stage could not resist it. Those in the middle stage and above could first injure them and then poison them. The success rate was very high. The other 2 warriors had not been poisoned yet. Stop struggling. It's already a miracle that the little broken ball appeared. The alien star sage said coldly, "Surrender to me and follow me to conquer the starry sky." The star sage of the early stage continued to spread his great path power to resist the invasion of the puppet poison. You're courting death. When the Earth near God returns, all of you will die. Near God? What a joke. It's already a great fortune for the little broken ball to have you. How can a near God appear? The alien star sage sneered. He did not believe it at all. What kind of place was Earth? What kind of resources could the little broken ball of the starry sky era have? Barely producing these 3 star sages was already a blessing in disguise. Near God? Was that even possible? Therefore, the 4 alien star sages thought that the 3 of them were just trying to scare them. They did not grow up scared. Jiang Chongkong did not want to court death like that. During the great changes in the starry sky, Earth had benefited a lot. If there were no resources, resources would fall from the sky. No relics? There were many relics in the void realm that were close to God. If there were not a few near-God cultivators, it would be a waste of the gift. For you, it doesn't matter whether there are near-God cultivators or not. Jiang Chongkong stepped into the battlefield and pressed the early stage star sage of the early stage with one hand. He poured in the great path power and the puppet poison dissipated. Thank you. The early stage star sage of the early stage relaxed. When he saw who it was, he was slightly surprised. Jiang Chongkong. Leave this person to me. You can rest first, Jiang Chongkong said calmly. Another one? The peak of the star path? The alien star sage said sarcastically, You're extraordinary to be able to cure the puppet poison. However, you're only at the peak of the star path. Are you courting death? I'm here to send you to your death. You won't be able to see the near God of Earth. Jiang Chongkong's expression was indifferent. But you won't die in vain because you've seen me. Ridiculous. The alien star sage sneered and pressed down with a sword aura. I'll kill you first. Boom. A palm fell and the sword aura collapsed. The palm power landed on the alien star sage as easily as crushing dry weed. With a bang, the early stage star sage exploded. An illusory soul was caught by Jiang Chongkong. The roots of the soul-stabilizing tree swallowed the star sage's soul. He's dead. The early stage star sage of the early stage was horrified. Jiang Chongkong had killed an early stage star sage with one palm. He was only at the peak of the star path. Save his resources for me. I'm going. After Jiang Chongkong finished speaking, he activated the 3 great Tao forms and arrived at the battlefield of the middle stage star sage. 2 against 1. It's not fair, Sunset. The 3 great Tao forms changed. The great path of force, the great path of the sun, and the great path of Tai Chi, the sunset hung in the starry sky. The sword of the setting sun slashed down. What the hell is that? The alien star sage looked up in shock. He saw the sword aura formed by stars. Billions of stars formed a sword, and the power of the 3 great paths intertwined. It was horrifying. The 2 alien star sages attacked at the same time to resist the sword. The middle stage star sage of Earth used his own great path to follow the sword. Rumble! Billions of stars exploded. The horrifying power of the great path pushed back the 2 star sages. Boom! The star sage of Earth followed closely behind. The sword pierced through the bodies of the 2 star sages, and the blood of the star sages spilled in the starry sky. Chapter 409. Blazing Sun. The sun rose warmly. Billions of stars also turned into blade radiance. After activating the 3 major Tao bodies, Jiang Chongkong's strength was slightly stronger than the 2 star sages. Plus, the star saints in the middle stage had a chance to breathe. They took the medicine and burst out with terrifying power again. The situation was reversed. Jiang Chongkong raised his hand and the star power turned into billions of stars. The powerful power of the great path intertwined and the Tao forms bloomed with endless divine light. He activated the 1000 Zhang golden body again. Roar. 10 power patterns roared. Jiang Chongkong punched down and the sky shook. Boom. The great path collapsed. An alien star saint was sent flying while vomiting blood. He's a cultivator of the East Sea's 3 great battle forms. He definitely is, the alien star saint shouted in fear. What are you afraid of? The other 2 star saints are already heavily injured. They can't hold on even with the medicine. The other star saint blocked the attack of the Earth star saint and said coldly, You stall him. We'll kill them and then come help you. The alien star saint. I might not be able to stall him. Stall me? Who gave him the confidence? You? Jiang Chongkong's eyes were cold. He punched at the Star Saint. His power was flowing as if the great path had arrived. Boom! Puff! Blood splashed. The alien Star Saint was also sent flying, smashing countless meteorites. We can't beat him. Retreat. The two Star Saints looked at each other and left. The other dark-skinned late-stage Star Saint gave up and glared at Jiang Chongkong. Kid, you're dead. We'll kill you all when we come back. Do you dare to leave your name? The Earth late-stage Star Saint said coldly. The Black Rock race of the East Sea. The late-stage Star Saint said proudly, I'll kill you all in 7 days. After that, the late-stage Star Saint turned around and disappeared with the two Star Saint. The Black Rock race of the East Sea. I'll remember this. If you don't surrender, Xue Dingpeng will change his surname. The martial artist in the late stage of the Star Saint realm said fiercely. Then, he looked at Jiang Chongkong. Lord Jiang, thank you for coming in time. Senior, you're too polite, Jiang Chongkong replied politely. After a pause, he asked again, do you all know me? The early stage Star Saints also recognized him, and this Xue Dingpeng also recognized him at first glance. Haha, it's so boring here in the starry sky that I love to listen to the news and happenings of my hometown. We've been watching your stories on Earth over and over again. Xue Dingpeng laughed and patted him on the shoulder. Good, very good. Old Xue, it's time to return to the base. Two Star Saints came over. The early stage Star Saint martial artist threw the corpse to Jiang Chongkong. Your spoils of war. Let's go back to the base first, Xue Dingpeng said. Jiang Chongkong followed them to the base. Oh right, the expeditionary army should arrive in 10 days. I noticed something wrong and rushed over first. Chongkong, what did you discover? The three of them asked. It's like this, Jiang Chongkong told them about the starry sky storm. Those bastards dared to attack the expeditionary army. I'll have to trouble you two brothers to receive the expeditionary army. I'll bring Chongkong back to the base, Xue Dingpeng said. I'll go with them. Jiang Chongkong frowned. He was a little worried about the two Star Saints. Don't worry, Chongkong. They've probably gone back to reorganize their troop. The two Star Saints smiled. Star Saints are not common people. Let's go. The two Star Saints went to receive them, and Xue Dingpeng brought Jiang Chongkong into the planet. The inside of the planet had been remodeled. The huge base almost occupied half of the planet. Flags fluttered in the wind, embroidered with azure planets and divine dragons. The whole base was protected by a barrier, which was enough to defend against the attacks of a mid-stage Star Saint. As the two of them arrived, many martial artists came out one after another. It was a dark mass that stretched as far as the eye could see. Don't worry, everyone. The enemy has been defeated. It's all thanks to Brother Chongkong. Xue Dingpeng pulled Jiang Chongkong aside and introduced him in a loud voice. This is the genius we've always heard about, Jiang Chongkong. He's here from his hometown. This time, it was also Jiang Chongkong who beat back two mid-stage Star Sages and killed one early-stage Star Sage. Only then did the enemies retreat. Jiang Chongkong! Jiang Chongkong! All the martial artists shouted his name. Their voices soared into the sky. Jiang Chongkong blushed. You don't have to do this. Okay, we don't have to do this. Xue Dingpeng smiled. Everyone, please be quiet. Our genius is shy. Now let's talk about something important. Jiang Chongkong, I just don't want to be in the limelight. Everyone quieted down. Xue Dingpeng continued. The enemy said that they will kill us all in 7 days and use this as a springboard to counterattack Earth. By then, the enemy will definitely have more than one late-stage Star Saint. So, everyone, get ready. It's time for us to get rich. Get rich? Jiang Chongkong was dumbfounded. Shouldn't we be preparing for battle? Yes, we should be preparing for battle. Come with me. Xue Dingpeng smiled and led him into a building in the base. Many martial artists in the building looked excited, as if something great was about to happen. Xue Dingping followed him into a secret room. There was a metal platform with a blue star symbol floating above it. A special aura of the Great Path spread out, and Jiang Chongkong felt extremely suppressed. 2 divine marks appeared between his eyebrows, which made him feel much better. Xue Dingping looked at him in surprise, but didn't say anything. He reached out and touched the blue star symbol. Buzz! A blue light spread out and turned into a blurry figure, exuding a mysterious power. Xue Dingping, what's the matter? Master Ing Liuli, Base 37, is under attack from the forces on the other side of the Star Gate. They want to destroy the base in 7 days. There are only us, Jiang Chongkong, and the 4 Star Saints in the base. Xue Dingping said respectfully, there are no Star Saints guarding the top. Please come back, Master. Then prepare for battle. Let the expeditionary force go to the Star Gate and use the number 8 Star Saint battleship, Ing Liuli said indifferently. After speaking, she turned to Jiang Chongkong. As for you, Jiang Chongkong, I'll be back soon. Then, the blue light disappeared into the star symbol. Jiang Chongkong. Was the god leading them to sweep everything away and take advantage of the situation? No wonder everyone in the base was so excited. I'm excited too. But why was the god coming back immediately after hearing that he was coming? Xue Dingping pulled Jiang Chongkong out of the secret room. Why does this near god want to see me personally? Jiang Chongkong asked the question in his heart. I don't know. Maybe he wants to see what a genius looks like. Xue Dingping shook his head. Jiang Chongkong furrowed his brows. Could it be because of the supreme battle physique? All of them were paying attention to this point. It was truly puzzling. Xue Dingping said again, don't worry, it's definitely not a bad thing. Master Ing Liuli is very gentle to us. Also, even if you want to leave, it's too late. You'll be able to see her at night. Jiang Chongkong. Well, whether it was a blessing or a curse, he couldn't avoid it. If a god wanted to deal with him, he really couldn't do anything now. Unless he could summon a body refinement god, he reckoned that he would be able to shock the earth god. Chapter 410. He took a shower and invited him to a feast. Of course, he couldn't help praising him during the meal. Jiang Chongkong returned to his room and prepared to rest. Blue light flashed before his eyes and the world changed. When he reappeared, he was outside the starry sky. A man and a woman stood outside Jiang Chongkong. The woman's aura was unfathomable like the starry sky, and her great Tao was restrained. The man was a smiling young man, and 3 great Taos circulated around his body. Yin and Yang, power pattern great Tao. His aura was equally terrifying, far surpassing that of Jiang Chongkong. Star Saint Peak. Jiang Chongkong. What the hell was going on? A cultivator of the 3 great battle bodies? Lord Jiang, I am Nan Yuyang, a cultivator of the Federation and a member of the Nan family, the young man said with a smile. Nan Yuyang? This is Lady Ing Liuli? Jiang Chongkong's mind was in a mess. Let me go. I'm a little confused. Blue light flashed, and Ing Liuli pointed a finger into Jiang Chongkong's forehead. This is... Jiang Chongkong frowned. Ing Liuli said gently, I just blocked the senses of those 2 near gods. Let me explain the details. I'd like to hear the details. Jiang Chongkong calmed down. Ing Liuli waved a hand, and the great Tao of water spread and enveloped the 3 of them. The power of the great Tao completely blocked everything. Ing Liuli's red lips moved slightly. Yuyang appeared 300 years ago. He was extremely talented in body refinement. Nan Yuyang's talent was terrifying. He had cultivated power patterns and was sent to the Federation by the Nan family. The Nan family also blocked information about Nan Yuyang. For 300 years, no one knew there was such a person in the Nan family. Later, the Federation wanted Nan Yuyang to cultivate the power of Yin, and he succeeded again. The Immortal Palace was also studying these 3 powers. The near gods of the Federation would occasionally visit the Immortal Palace to copy the information. They secretly nurtured Nan Yuyang, and at the same time searched for the key to open the Stargate. The Federation destroyed all information about Nan Yuyang to prevent others from finding out. It could be said that apart from the near gods of the Federation and some of the higher-ups, almost no one knew of Nan Yuyang's existence. Why are the three great battle bodies so important? Jiang Chongkong asked with a frown. Not bad. Ing Liuli's gentle expression became a little more solemn. According to the information we obtained, ordinary martial arts cultivation methods are no longer able to allow one to become a deity or deity. Only by combining the three great combat bodies and cultivating the most powerful combat body can we break through this barrier and unlock the secrets of immortals and God. Jiang Chongkong, I think you've seen fake news. If you give me enough resources, I'll surpass the God level for you to see. The 4 seas and 8 wastelands will give birth to a cultivator of the 3 great combat bodies. As for whether they can grow and open the gate of space, it all depends on their own fate. The Western Sea region has been out for hundreds of years. This is the news we just received. Ing Liuli explained, there is no movement from the other space gates for the time being. According to our investigations over the years, there can only be one ultimate combat body. Only one? Jiang Chongkong raised his eyebrows. Yes. The cultivators of the 3 great combat bodies in the 4 seas and 8 wastelands will fight and transform in the process. The winner will surpass the God level and step into the true realm of deities and God. Ing Liuli's expression was solemn. Then, she looked a little confused. What I don't understand is, how did you get out? Jiang Chongkong's expression was a little awkward. What do you mean by how did I get out? I'm not cultivating the Tai Yin or Tai Yang. I'm cultivating another power. I'm also curious about this. How did you open the stone box back then? Nan Yuyang asked. Lend me your Tai Yin power. Don't resist, Jiang Chongkong said. Nan Yuyang used the Tai Yin power and floated beside Jiang Chongkong. Jiang Chongkong used the Tai Yang power, the force pattern power, and the Tai Yin power. The 4 powers did not clash. Instead, they coexisted peacefully. Ing Liuli and Nan Yuyang were shocked. You can use 4 powers? It's impossible to cultivate them. I can only use the Tai Yang power to balance and contain them. It's a different kind of 3 great combat bodies. Jiang Chongkong held his chin and looked at Nan Yuyang. He said sincerely, Don't worry. I'm definitely not as good as you. Nan Yuyang. I feel like you're lying to me. You just killed 2 early-stage star sages. I couldn't do this when I was at the peak of the star path. I could only resist for a while. Ing Liuli frowned. Those 2 near gods bet on you. It seems like they have no choice. They bet on me? Jiang Chongkong was confused. Of course. All near gods look forward to unlocking the secret of becoming a deity with the ultimate combat body. After our Federation discovered Nan Yuyang, we trained him with all our might and bet on him. Ing Liuli explained, because we guarded him well, those old near gods couldn't find Nan Yuyang and kept wandering around on Earth. Jiang Chongkong understood. That's why I ran over. When they saw that there was a cultivator of the 3 great combat bodies, they thought, oh, it's him. If the old near gods knew of Nan Yuyang's existence, they would probably be dumbfounded too. If Ing Liuli knew that he had the Shadow Great Path, she would probably be equally dumbfounded. There was one in every place, and now there was this Jiang Chongkong. Jiang Chongkong sighed inwardly. Should I not have intervened? Then, should I attract the firepower next? Nan Yuyang will continue to hide behind the scenes and reap the benefits? Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. Just like Liang Qiuxuani, he would attract the firepower of the Divine Palace. No, what happens next is the matter of the ultimate combat body. Ing Liuli shook her head. We can only guarantee that the near gods won't interfere. As for you, cultivate by yourself. The corner of Jiang Chongkong's mouth twitched. He understood what she meant. Go do what you need to do. It has nothing to do with you. Fine, but what if Nan Yuyang comes out and those two near gods who bet on me come after me? Jiang Chongkong asked. They wouldn't dare. Ying Liuli's expression was cold. No matter what, you are a genius of earth. Whoever dares to suppress you with the power of a near god will be killed. Those are two veteran near gods. Can earth handle them? Jiang Chongkong asked in a daze. Of course, those two near gods definitely wouldn't do anything to him, because they knew that he also had the three great combat bodies. If we were at our peak, we would indeed be inferior. But now we are just two cripples. Ying Liuli was slightly disdainful. Moreover, Yuyang has already reached the peak of the Star Saint level. I believe he will soon enter the ranks of the near gods. Nan Yuyang also guaranteed, don't worry, we will help each other. If they make things difficult for you, tell them to come to me. Jiang Chongkong. Fine, seeing that you two are so kind, I will protect you when I become an immortal or a god in the future. If there's nothing else, I'll go back first. Jiang Chongkong stood up and was ready to leave. Wait a minute, I still want to discuss with you. Next, are we going to build a celestial kingdom, a divine kingdom, or what? Nan Yuyang stopped him and said. Jiang Chongkong was slightly taken aback. What does that have to do with me? I've decided to make you a grand marshal or something. When the time comes, you and I will rule the world together, Nan Yuyang invited. I'm not interested. I just want to cultivate and improve. Jiang Chongkong shook his head. Rule the world? Forget about you, there are still a bunch of near god. He might as well become a near god himself. Chapter 411. Jiang Chongkong firmly rejected Nan Yuyang's invitation. Leave the position of Grand Marshal for someone else, be it the Celestial Nation or the God Nation. He didn't want to interfere. He had already reached the pinnacle of the star path and cultivated his Tao body. All he wanted was to obtain resources and become a god as soon as possible. Regardless of whether it was the interstellar era or the current era, this point had been proven. Only immortals and gods could live forever. No matter how long a god's lifespan was, he would still die of old age one day. As for the ultimate combat body, it would unlock the secret of immortal ascension. If that was the case, then he could open it himself. Only God knew how long it would take for them to decide a victor and kill until only one of them was left. Ying Liuli had also left a Tao pattern imprint for him so that he could contact her if there was any danger. After bidding farewell to the two of them, Jiang Chongkong returned to his room to rest. The two early-stage star sages did not have many resources with them. They only had a little more than 20 million spiritual essences in total. The resources of these star sages were generally stored in their own lair. What they carried on them were only useful to them. Only some individual star sages, who did not have much influence, would carry all their resources with them. The next morning, Jiang Chongkong was woken up by the noise. Xue Dingping's voice spread throughout the base. All martial artists, please pay attention, the situation on the other side of the Star Gate has been generally understood. Two nations, the immortal kingdom of the West Sea and the divine kingdom of the East Sea. As for us, we belong to the East Sea region. In the starry sky, only a martial artist who possesses the three great combat bodies has the hope of becoming an immortal. On Earth, there is such a martial artist. I'm sorry, but it's not Jiang Chongkong. It's Nan Yuyang from the Nan family. 300 years ago, our lineage on Earth produced a prodigy, but in order to protect him, we didn't expose him. Xue Dingping's voice was very excited as he spoke passionately. Earth was the rightful ruler of East Ocean, the hope of becoming an immortal. Therefore, the East Sea God Nation was unorthodox. Earth would support Nan Yuyang in building a divine nation or immortal kingdom to participate in the starry sky struggle. The group of martial artists felt their blood boil as they listened. Back in the starry sky battle, Earth was a small broken ball that they couldn't afford to play with. But it was different now. The endless resources sprinkled down from the starry sky had allowed them to grow. If they wanted to get close to gods, they could get close to gods. If they wanted to get close to star sages, they had dozens of them. Nan Yuyang was one of the cultivators who cultivated the 3 great battle bodies, as well as many starry sky battleships. If it weren't for the fact that they were limited by materials, the battleships they could build would be enough to kill a star saint. Even now, there were a few star-searching sacred battleships. Under such circumstances, why shouldn't they participate in this golden age of ascension? What we need to do is to raise the flag of the Federation, the Azure Star, and the godly dragon totem in the sky. Xue Dingpeng almost roared in the end. They wanted to create a super-prosperous era. Jiang Changkong's blood was boiling when he heard this, but then he felt that something was wrong. Did this group of people want to unify the universe? That made sense. As long as Nan Yuyang succeeded and became the first immortal to ascend, he would be able to crush all near gods and unite the cosmos. For the sake of a better future, the distribution of profits will be reduced. Please understand. This time, Lord Deity Ingliuli will lead us to conquer a starfield and build a nation. Each of us can only keep 30% of the profits, and the rest will be handed over to the national treasury. Xue Dingpeng said again, if you have any objections, you can raise them. No problem. For the sake of Earth, for the sake of becoming an immortal. No problem. For the sake of Earth, for the sake of becoming an immortal, I'm willing to even take 10%, let alone 30%. That's right. In the future, our flag will soar through the cosmos. Their voices reverberated in the bass like waves and almost spread across the entire planet. Jiang Changkong was silent. When he became a near god, he could help plant some flags. Everyone, prepare for war. Bring everything you can. Let's go. Xue Dingpeng shouted. This time, the near god was personally taking action. They could just follow and take advantage of the situation. When the nether dragon comes, we'll leave after this. Jiang Changkong thought to himself. He was happy that he could only take 30% at a time. After all, it was a bargain. However, he wanted more, so he could only do it alone. In the future, when the nation was established, the distribution of profits would probably be the same. It was not that Jiang Changkong was selfish, but that he needed too much. Only by becoming a near god could he suppress everything. In fact, he wanted to sit in Nan Yuyang's position and be nurtured by a group of near gods to collect resources for him. However, Nan Yuyang had been there for 300 years and had planned for 300 years. Why should he give it to him? Was the power of the moon and the power of the sun added together stronger and more talented than Nan Yuyang? Given the current situation, if he exposed the power of the moon, Jiang Changkong did not know what would happen. Perhaps a group of near gods would do something earth-shattering while they were in a daze. They might kill him, or they might nurture him and replace Nan Yuyang. There was only one reason. In the end, only one of the 3 great combat bodies would cultivate the most powerful combat body and unlock the secret of immortal ascension. Once he was exposed, it was likely that he would have to fight to the death with Nan Yuyang. Under such circumstances, he could not stay here any longer. Jiang Changkong had already thought it through. He was a variable who had transmigrated from another Earth, completely out of the picture of immortal ascension. He was the one who had barged into it. The warship had already started, and a group of warriors boarded it. This time, the warship was different from the previous manned warship. It was more powerful and had more weapons. There were a total of 7 warships. Rows of warriors stood on the deck of the warships, wearing battle armor and carrying weapons. Xue Dingpeng called Jiang Changkong to board warship number 13 and keep watch here. 6 warships surrounded warship number 8, a star-level warship. Nan Yuyang also officially appeared in front of everyone. He wore a dragon robe and a hat, and there were 2 swords at his waist, the moon sword and the sun sword. He stood on the deck of warship number 8 and looked out into the starry sky. Ingliuli did not come out. She hid in the void to protect Nanyuyang. The Expeditionary Army warship also changed direction and rushed to the starry sky gate. "Let's go!" Xue Dingpeng roared. The dragon flag fluttered and the warship started. "Sir, warship number 13 is in position." A warrior in battle armor came before Jiang Chongkong and saluted. "Then let's go. Follow warship number 8. Jiang Chongkong was still a little confused. This was his first time participating in a starry sky expedition, so he was still a little excited. The warship roared and starlight shot into the sky. It rushed out of the base and toward the starry sky gate. Putting on the communicator, Xue Dingpeng's voice came. "Chongkong, don't be impulsive. Follow behind us later and listen to my command." "Okay," Jiang Chongkong replied. Then, a voice sounded from the communicator again, "Expedition 38, requesting to speak to you. Connect." "Brother Kong, which warship are you on now? Is the base fun? I heard you killed another star saint?" The Abyss Dragon's voice came. Jiang Chongkong smiled and said, "Warship number 13. I left the corpse for you. Now prepare for the expedition. You've changed your course. We'll kill the enemy together. I saw your warship. With the help of a star saint, we sped up a lot." The Abyss Dragon said excitedly, "You can see us when you look back." Jiang Chongkong looked back. In the endless starry sky, 18 warships quickly followed. Be careful later. The opponent this time is a star saint," Jiang Chongkong reminded. Although there were near gods taking action, it was impossible for them to kill all living creatures. He was going to build a country this time, so he definitely had to recruit subordinate.